In a certain land, a father and son were wailing, saying it was all my fault. The father lay on the ground, begging the people in front of him not to harm his family. But the girl mercilessly beheaded his daughter. The father angrily shouted, "You damn evil spirits, you will all be punished by heaven." Without a change in expression, he put on his dark sunglasses and annoyedly said, "Why is it taking so long? Let us quickly take care of this and go." The white-haired girl silently wiped the blood off her face. The man with sunglasses continued, "Let me be frank with you. You will be punished for breaking the rules of Wonderland." She continued to stab the noisy one from before, and he continued, "You deserve to rot in the slums of the bears. You should thank me for saving your life." Finish the mission. She turned her head and left. Returning, the man with sunglasses scratched his head, complaining that the girl was a real nuisance. Just going out for a bit and already covered in blood. He continued, "Next time remember to be careful and be grateful that someone helps you clean up. I do not want to get scolded by the manager because of you." Afterwards, sitting in the car, the man with sunglasses complained to some strange man, "I cleaned everything up perfectly." The girl, meanwhile, was handcuffed in the back of the car. She thought to herself that she had been here for 9 years. Even though 9 years had passed, some things had not changed at all. And one of those things was her name, Soyeon. Before, Soyeon was an ordinary university student. She was not particularly good at anything, just sociable like everyone else. She had a boyfriend, but he did not pay much attention to her. Just when she thought she had a stable position with her boyfriend, suddenly a blonde woman appeared from nowhere. The woman pointed a knife at Soyeon. She was stabbed unexpectedly and did not understand what was happening. The blonde woman laughed maniacally and said, "Live up to your status." Soyeon woke up in a laboratory instead of a hospital, with nameless drugs, unclear experiments, images of masked people blurred before her eyes, and endless pain. Her name in this hellhole was Space Traveler 137, and she was quite a suitable experimental subject. Her whole body was covered in blood, and she wondered, if I am number 137, what happened to the people before me? Is there no way to go back? Suddenly, the man with sunglasses came close and told her that everyone before her had died. Soyeon was surprised. He continued, "Now, you are the most advanced dog." And the day she would return would never come. She thought, this world is exactly like the novel I read before I died, called Wonderland, so the sign Wonderland on this road gives me hope. In the novel, that sign was erected 10 years before the story began. However, the main character Alice had a problem. The letter W had lost its light. There is only one possibility. The story might not have started yet. If this hellish world really unfolds like the original, then the main plot is just about to begin. She wondered, if I survive until the story ends, could I return? Suddenly, she tightly hugged the neck of the man sitting next to her. "What the hell?" He screamed in fear. She continued to press his head down. The man with sunglasses threatened, "Stop, put your hands up. If you move again you will be dealt with." She turned around, grabbed the gun, shoved it into his mouth and pressed down. Being pressed down like that, he trembled and said, wait a minute." Although his face was terrified, he still tried to negotiate, saying, "Don't do this, let us talk." But no matter what he said, her face remained unchanged as she continued to point the gun at him. The car was wrecked and covered in blood. Soyeon thought, this is the world in the novel, so the main character Alice has a good ending, and I will help her achieve it. There are 3 rules in Wonderland. First, do not mess with someone stronger. Second, do not commit crimes in neutral territory. And third, let the garbage in the slums rot in their own territory. However, there is an exception. If one of them reaches the finish line in the death race, they will be allowed to leave the slums and enter neutral territory. It is a battle for survival for the people of the slums to reach a higher status. Scene change in a certain room. The strange man said, "Soon this place will become completely dark." It turned out his name was Hart, and he sat laughing sinisterly, saying, "I am really looking forward to it." The masked man, who was the White Rabbit, suddenly asked, "When will the race start tonight?" Hart replied, "I thought you were not interested in this. What is wrong?" His men pointed guns at the masked man, saying, "What are you saying? Tell your people to calm down. I will always remain neutral." This made Hart not want to react. The White Rabbit approached, told Hart to look, the race is about to start. Everyone is holding their breath and conserving their strength. Suddenly, Hart saw something. The White Rabbit also looked. Downstairs was a girl. It was Soyeon with a large sword on her back. The White Rabbit suddenly asked, "What the hell?" and glared, saying, "I am going to kill her." Hearing that, Hart remained silent with an expectant expression. He looked at the girl and said, I am really looking forward to a record-breaking performance. At the race venue, someone was staring at Soyeon and called, "Hey, white hair." Hearing that, she turned her head. Hart came out, smoothly combing his hair, and said, "Wait a minute, tonight there is a caucus race, and there is a small entertainment program right before that." Soyeon looked over at the white rabbit. He offered, "It is quite fortunate that you are participating." But she did not say anything, just looked at them with sharp eyes. Their rules of the game are, be a rat, avoid anything that gets in your way. Run, escape, play dirty, and kill the man in front of you within an hour. At this moment, right in front of her was the white rabbit. Hart provoked, "If you succeed, I will give you a chance to compete in the official race." Soyeon was still looking up at him. And she was ready to start the opening act of the race to the top. Then the two began to fight each other. In the meantime, the white rabbit had his right leg cut off by her and fell to the ground. The man's mask fell off unexpectedly. The judgment of the survival of the two sides is the life of one person and the death of the other. Soyeon had won, but she still did not kill the white rabbit. He angrily shouted, what the hell are you doing?" She remained silent and did not bother to answer. The man kept asking, "Don't you know where I come from? Who is backing you?" Hart interjected, coming closer and wondering, "Why did you stop? Are you the type of person who can't finish their work?" Now she replied, "No." Hearing that, he suggested that she kill him. This made the other guy gape and curse, "You bitch, you dog." Hart. Meanwhile, she held the sword to deliver the final blow and said, "It seems like you want to be beheaded." Seeing that, Hart smiled in satisfaction. He applauded, cheering for a great start, while Soyeon collapsed from exhaustion. And now the real race will begin. Hart looked around to see the participants. However, it seemed like the others had run away. He said, "The winner of this caucus race is the white-haired girl," and asked her, "How do you feel?" She suddenly asked Hart to give her the white rabbit's position. "It seems like I have to act to ensure the ending of the novel." Soyeon thought that if she could become a supporting character, then she could save Alice and end it sooner. That is what she was aiming for. Hearing that, he scoffed and replied, "Very suitable for you." The next day, a scene in a room. Soyeon just woke up lying in bed. She had requested Hart a place to stay after the caucus race. And yesterday he said that the place of the person she had just killed was vacant. She wondered what the hell. Now she found this place to be a useful little house. The only problem was the rust. Suddenly there was a call, "We need to leave immediately," startling her. Someone complained, "Good heavens, how can she still not be here even though I have called her so many times?" She asked, "What do you mean?" The man with glasses, who looked like a multi-level marketer, said that there was a phone in the house that the white rabbit used to use. She asked again, "That is a phone, it looks like a silly brick." He was sweating all over, saying, "Do you think you are so great just because you come from outside?" She was helpless, "It is not that big of a deal. The nonsense you are saying now is just what you are thinking. There is no reason for you to freak out about something that should belong in a museum." Hearing that, he went straight to the point, saying that Hart had called her. Then at Hart's mansion, she put on gloves and entered his place. It seemed like he was not satisfied. "Are you rebelling, or is there really no tact at all?" He continued, "If you do not like the way things work here, there is a reason the caucus race exists." He even joked about cutting off her hands and feet and selling them. Early this morning, he sent a message to her phone. Soyeon wondered, "Phone, you mean that crappy brick?" Hart asked back, "You do not know what it is. It is quite surprising that you are so clueless. This is for making calls, talking and sending messages, etc. But this phone is adjusted for people without magic. So she could also use something else, but she did not have magic." Hearing that, he thought she was joking and laughed. But she was strangely serious. His face went blank and looked quite dazed. Hart asked again, "Really?" She said, "What would I gain from lying?" Soyeon said that she really did not have magic, and that she was just an agent used as an experimental subject. However, there were many things she had not resolved because she was too busy trying to escape. Even though it sounded a bit unbelievable, he still asked, "What are the things you have not resolved?" She pulled up her sleeve and told him that first, there was a tracking mark preventing me from escaping the lab. It was created by the magic you just mentioned. Next, I need a real poison expert. Hart coldly said, "It seems like the poison part is more urgent than the pursuit. So, who are you going to use it on?" She seriously said, "On myself." Then she came to Duke's pharmacy. She looked at the paper Hart gave her and remembered his words that he was a native of Wonderland and a genius about medicine. No matter what she was looking for, no one was more suitable for this job than him. She carefully slowly opened the door and entered. Heart told her to be careful because there was something very strange about him. She should discover it herself. Inside, Duke looked at her with a surprised expression. There is no way a guest like you would visit a place like this. Soyeon replied, Heart recommended this shop. He said you are very good at medicine, so that is why. The man approached her and understood. Duke held her chin and said, so that means you are the one who killed the white rabbit. Anyway, I welcome new faces. He would turn on the lights to welcome her home, seeing that the girl looked young. So Duke asked how old she was and introduced himself. I am 21 years old like Heart. She thought about how long she had been experimented on and replied uncertainly, 17 years old. Hearing that, he said that she was really young for someone here. Then he asked her if she was okay. The white rabbit's job was not easy either. Don't worry, Duke was not trying to advise her not to do that. He happily told her to sit down and talk. He had just received a premium black tea, so he brought it out to invite her. Soyeon went straight to the point, saying that she wanted an antidote. Duke worriedly said that he could take her to a safe place if he told them that was what she wanted, but she still indifferently replied, forget about it. He continued, you were very strong to survive alone, why not start with your arm? Hearing that, she took the knife on the table and cut her finger, saying, take it. He took out a tray to take her blood and said, okay, but do not do that again, it is very dangerous, you could get tetanus. There are no unusual reactions, you can take the medicine. She asked how much. He replied, 100,000 carats. He advised her to listen to him and take this medicine on an empty stomach, although it is not life-threatening, but it is not recommended. She picked up the medicine and was relieved that there were no signs of it being opened. Then Duke continued to ask her if she had eaten anything yet. If she did not mind, eat with me, not interested. She threw money on the table, saying that this was the money for the medicine and asked, leave. Duke immediately apologized to her, asking if he had said too much. It had been a long time since a guest had come, so he was a bit excited. Moreover, he was very worried. He still tried to hold her back. Did not she like black tea or have black coffee? She did not hate black tea, but she definitely did not want to drink anything containing sleeping pills, and she did not like enjoying tea in a place full of the smell of corpses. Hearing that, Duke suddenly became very scary, saying, it is a pity to hear you say that. She blankly replied with a word, yeah. Scene changed to a crowded area in the middle of neutral territory. Soyeon, having just taken the medicine, thought that Heart seemed to be right about the medicine. Then she looked around, thinking that there were many people here, but she had never carefully observed what people were selling. Suddenly she saw a dress. Why did it look so familiar? When she looked at the price of it, she was shocked. It was 50,000 carats. This dress was not more than a few thousand won. She still was not used to using the currency in this place. Suddenly the salesperson shouted, hey, what are you looking at? That is a new product released by the outside last year, she thought, realizing that it was expensive because there was no factory here. The White Rabbit's old house did not even have the basics. Soyeon thought to herself that the dress was so cute, but it was made by an ugly old man and Heart was the leader. Then she came to a certain house. Leaping over the high wall lightly, Heart said that she should not break in without permission. Seeing the pile of corpses on the ground, she understood. So this was his intention. Looking at those things, she thought to herself that it smelled bad and it looked like there was no one here. Remembering that he told her to knock gently, she did the same. A voice rang out upstairs, I have never met you. She turned her head to look in the direction of the sound. It was a white-haired man and co-introduced himself. I am the White Rabbit, Heart has told me about you. He said that Knock looked quite different from other white rabbits. If Knock only came to say hello, then go back to the den. If Knock came for work, then Knock was allowed to enter. She did not respond and immediately broke down the door. Seeing that, he invited her in and thought that this girl was quite hot-tempered. Stepping into the house, the long-haired man came out to welcome her. He suggested that next time, if possible, she should visit in the afternoon. She entered following him, asking, there are corpses outside, would it be okay if I cleaned them up? But he said he would take care of that later. Don't be too comfortable, he asked what Knock needed. Suddenly she opened her shirt, surprising him, saying that Knock was a girl and looked too thin. He did not recognize her. It would be a bit difficult to attract people with this appearance, she calmly replied. What are you saying? I just wanted to show you my shoulder. Seeing the thing on her shoulder, he said that it was a periodic system that would emit signals. Right, it was used for tracking. Knock was treated like an animal by some group of people. He guessed that this White Rabbit wanted to remove it. She asked again, is it possible? He replied again, it is hard to say because it is embedded very deeply. To completely and absolutely remove it, Knock will have to chop off your shoulder. She asked if there was another way. He came closer to look and continued. The holy painting is the mark of a favorite animal. If it has no other meaning, why does it have so much? It seemed that the close distance made her uncomfortable. saying that he could please stand away if he had finished looking already. He laughed, asking why. Did Nok feel scared? She unhappily replied, "Your hair is tickling me." Hearing that, he thought to himself that she was really a cold girl. Then they sat down and got to the point. He wondered, can I remove it, or does Nok think this mark will not let me do my job? She did not know, but she also did not care much about the second case. He thought, in that case, the favor to prevent the gods from emitting it is probably enough. It would take a long time to collect the right tools. Come here in a few days. It did not have to be that way if Nok could not come. She was still blankly looking at him. "Ah, the phone," he said. "I told Nok that that thing does not use magic. Nok can use your phone to call people without magic." She interrupted. "Not that," he said again. "That is right." She thought his phone was terrible. The brick was much better. "What are you trying to say?" She suggested, giving a piece of paper and a pen. "Because I also have a passion for machines. I will give you some of my opinions as an outsider." Then she drew a detailed design of the phone. Seeing that, he was extremely surprised and speechless. I am still laid back. I am not an expert, so there are many shortcomings. She told you to fill in those gaps with your knowledge. You wondered where Nok had seen this. Inside. Who the hell invented this? You kept holding her hand and begging, "Please, Nok, answer me." She said, "Me? Why should I tell you?" You calmed down, and she said you were in a hurry. "It is not me." "Okay, Nok, you do not have to do anything," you said, holding the drawing. "Just tell me the name of the person who designed this, and I won't bother you about anything else." I thought to myself that you have already bothered me quite a bit. She pushed your hand away. "I won't tell you. Figure it out yourself." "Wait," you said again. "You are planning to leave right after showing me a drawing like this." She still turned away from your expectant gaze. "I am going home. I will be back the day after tomorrow." The food street was bustling. Walking on the road, she thought, he really does not like the idea of me just leaving like that. What a true machinery geek. She looked at the piece of paper Hart gave her and thought, this place is quite far from home, so it will take a while to get back. While thinking, headache already, suddenly there was a shout over there. She turned around to see what was happening. But she saw two men pointing knives at her. Seeing that, she remained calm. These guys bumping into the female lead are just doomed. Later, the man from earlier was covered in blood and broken. Having dealt with it, she was still without a scratch. The people around who witnessed it screamed in fear. Ahead, that is the fifth one already. They discussed that she was the winner of the caucus race. Even the white rabbit had her head chopped off by her. That dwarf, if I could kill him, I could rise to a higher social position. She was thinking about going home when she saw two guys come to the corpse she just killed, fighting over it. "This is all mine. Call a doctor or something. Take it while it is still fresh." The man looked at her happily and said, "Ladies, continue on. We do not intend to block your way. This is neutral territory, so we should put an end to this criminal, right?" After that, she walked blankly through the crowd, thinking, I am too tired. When will the main character Alice appear? I need to rest. 2 days later at the Mad Hatter's mansion, you were waiting. When is that kid coming? She came so quickly last time. While speaking, you immediately saw the white rabbit coming below. You waited for too long and got angry, yelling, "Do you know what time it is? Also, why did not you come inside?" She calmly replied, "You told me to come in the afternoon." You urged, "Hurry inside, kid." Not forgetting to remind, the door opens when you knock on it. She pushed the door open and entered. You asked, "Why did you bring a sword? Don't you trust me?" But it was not that. You had to use it on the way here because your house is too far. You admired, "You are too famous," and said, "I am doing research on the second floor." She followed you upstairs. Arriving at the place, you told her to sit down there, pull down her shirt, and do not touch anything. You will research for 2 hours each day. After you are done, you will spend 2 hours explaining that type of machine to me. That is the price for me to undo the seal. She accepted those conditions. Next, you used the necessary tools that you had prepared. Attaching it to your eyes and moving towards her. You told her, "Now sit still." She quietly cooperated with your intentions. Seeing something strange behind her, she wondered, "What is that machine?" You replied, "It is just to check the truth. Don't worry about it." She gradually entered her thoughts, pleading, screaming, and tears, continuously injected with drugs and experimented on. People being treated like animals, it sounds like a laboratory. I can't help but think that no, I am no longer in the laboratory. This is the groundwork to prepare for another certain escape. This man, this machine, and the fact that he is helping me. Pleading, screaming, and tears, people being treated like animals, she thought, it sounds like a laboratory. No, I am no longer in the laboratory. This is the groundwork to prepare for another certain escape. She looked at you thinking, this man, this machine, and the fact that he is helping me. This is Wonderland, not a laboratory. This is Wonderland. It seemed she was quite sure that this place was safe. Suddenly, she felt an extreme pain. You asked, does it hurt a lot? She replied, don't worry, continue. You continued, this is another solution. It will hurt a little more, and you poured some liquid on her shoulder. She was startled but still tried to overcome the pain. Seeing that, you reassured her, I am wiping it with a towel. It won't hurt anymore. Then encouraged her, let us continue together. You thought, this kid is probably used to this process, which is why she is so quiet. This kid was very cold earlier, but now she looks too fragile, and the act of chopping off a white rabbit's head raises a lot of questions. After finishing, you said, that is enough for today. Now about the phone. She was still looking down, her tears gradually falling. She came closer and hugged you, which surprised you greatly. Seeing that, you immediately stroked her head to comfort her. Looking at the child's tired face, you saw that she was completely exhausted. Scene change in a dark space. The white rabbit is lying peacefully on a bed of flowers. Suddenly, a bloody hand clenched tightly. She startled awake. The white-haired you was sitting beside her, saying, you are finally awake. She held her aching arm and asked, where am I? You replied, in my room. I did not do anything to you, so do not worry. I waited for you to wake up for a long time. She wondered, asking again, what? You raised the notebook, saying, promise me that you will explain. If I press here, the phone will work, right? So how do I send a message? What about making a call, and how do I press letters and numbers? She turned her head helplessly, replying, I am really sorry, I am still a bit tired. It would probably be better if I started by explaining the phone before starting the research. You said, I am the one doing the research. You can't be tired from just sitting around. Now a fair exchange. She thought, he really expects a lot from someone who just woke up. And she agreed to keep her promise to you, telling you to go sit at the table. After a while of explanation and understanding those things were the main functions, she said, the core is quite similar. You wondered, even with so many, I still find it strange. She asked, what is strange? It seems like it has too many unnecessary functions, like a music player. It is troublesome and does not fit the purpose. She also did not know how to explain and thought, if I try to explain, I will have to talk about the history of the era and the culture. You looked out the window, pondering, there are many things to discuss further, but for now it is late, so let us end it here for the time being. She agreed and left. You said, come back in the morning. After that, you silently watched her figure leave. Then tiredly flopped onto the bed. You felt that that kid was a strange person. Walking on the road, she thought, mobile phones and magic, those two terms do not go together. She held the phone in her hand, thinking, mobile phones in the outer area of Wonderland are operated by Marie, but the people in Wonderland usually do not have magic. Wonderland was founded about 100 years ago by people without magic. They changed their daily lives in this new land, and one of those changes was the new mobile phone. Mobile phones in Wonderland are automatically charged with magic when they touch the skin of a person with magic, and I heard that the person behind this adjustment is none other than the device fanatic, Mad Hatter. While pondering, suddenly there was a notification, a message from Hart. He texted, I have found a job for you. Come to my mansion. At Hart's mansion, you said, did you get into a fight on the way here because you are covered in blood? If you feel angry, vent it in the outer area. Don't come here. Could it be that it is still not working because the tracking spell has not been removed? While wiping the blood off her, you said, then let us get to the main issue. You came closer, would you mind taking a bath first? The smell of blood makes Hart sick. Hearing that, she asked, can I take a bath? Where's the bathroom? You glanced over there. After that, she went into the bathroom. Outside, you kept urging, hurry up. With her naked body, she came out to meet you, asking, what is this? You replied, clothes to change into. Weren't you taught to close the door when in the outer area? She took the clothes and said, I need a towel too. You said, it is down below. You were helpless, aren't you ashamed? She still said, just know that I have lived a life that was not very lucky. This looks like the white rabbit's clothes. That is right. He used to come to my house every morning to take a bath. And you handed out the letter, that is the last thing he left. She picked it up and read, the recipient is the twins. A delivery job, it will take a month for me to walk there and back. You laughed. Not invading other people's homes is a story about historical etiquette. Some people do not care about it, but I am a refined gentleman. She suggested, how about organizing a caucus race and offering the position of White Rabbit as the prize? Why suddenly Hart said, have you lost your position already because you lost to the attackers? If you do delivery work, you will probably lose even more. Well, this is Wonderland, she sighed. You said, a special land, filled with people eager to face death. the famous duo Tweedledee and Tweedledum of Wonderland, abbreviated as the twins White Rabbit. Is this a big guy in front of you? Is this not the lonely wolf? He asked. What are you snooping around here for, kid? Get lost. She handed out the letter. This is a document from Heart sent to the twins. Are you sure you want me to leave? Heart's document. Are you the new White Rabbit? He asked, reaching out to take the document. Give it to me. I will pass it on to the twins. Her face became unpleasant, slapping his hand away. I am not allowed to do that. Heart asked me to deliver it directly to the twins. That guy angrily yelled. Don't be ridiculous like that. How can a kid like you hope to meet big bosses like the twins? She suddenly launched a kick, sending him flying dozens of meters. His body cracked the wall. After the attack, the guards ran out asking what was that sound, an attack. White Rabbit turned back. I said, this is a document from Heart. Are the twins inside? The two guards were both scared of the girl in front of them. With her ferocity, she was allowed to meet the twins. The blonde said coldly, so you are the one causing a ruckus outside, demanding to see me. This is the new White Rabbit. Hearing that, she immediately asked, are you the twins? I brought the document that Heart sent. But he did not know what she was talking about at all. In anger he said, ask Dumb. Everyone tells him everything. She secretly looked at him and called, hey Dumb. Where did that guy run off to? What did Heart send? He is probably in the office. Dumb apologized. Sorry, Dee has guests. Please wait a moment. Later, a refined man came out. Nice to meet you, ladies. Is this the new White Rabbit? I am Tweedledum. He asked. There was a bit of noise outside. Was it too loud? Are you okay? Before his gentleness, she remembered, unlike Dee from earlier, this person has a delicate smile like a prince and a gentle tone of voice. But in reality, he is a multi-personality madman, which is what everyone still says. The twins are known as the twins, but they are actually two personalities of the same person, committing fraud in Wonderland by playing the role of twins. The only person in Wonderland who knows about their true identity is Alice. Dumb shook her hand, saying, Heart sent a document. It is here. She handed it to him. Thank you, ladies. Perhaps you will need to send a reply, so could you wait a moment? Please sit on the sofa. She nodded in agreement. In his room. Dumb read the document. There is probably nothing important except that Dee caused a scene at a bar. Looking at her, he thought, speaking of which, this White Rabbit. She was looking out the window, glancing at him, wondering what is wrong. In that moment he was startled. And smiled. It is nothing. I think you can leave now. She stood up. All right. I'm so sorry for making you wait, ladies. White Rabbit did not say anything, turning her head and leaving. After that, he immediately showed himself to be extremely dangerous. I think I understand why Heart likes you. On the road, people were still bustling. Walking on the road, she thought, 100,000 carats. It is too cheap. Does that already include the dangers? Suddenly she saw a boy. It felt like someone was watching her. The boy secretly glanced at her, thinking that maybe she was imagining things and leaving, while the boy behind her glanced at her. After that, her life was very normal, nothing special. She had a full breakfast, still went to work when called, killed those who challenged her, and visited Mad Hatter every other day. At Hat's room, you were still dealing with the symbol on her shoulder. You said, this device identifies the signal emitted from the mark. The device you created looked like a microwave. The fact that it is silent means the signal has been blocked, right? She asked, how long will it last? You replied, about 15 minutes, but I think that we will have a truly useful item ready in just about 2 weeks. After that, she was very grateful to you. Then you said, you won't say that when you know what I got from you. She sighed. I have explained enough for him to guess that I came from another world. She made sure that you understood thoroughly, and that was our deal. So, just as Mad Hatter had promised, 2 weeks later they made a patch that worked for 2 hours. And a week later, a patch with a 6-hour duration was created. Perhaps they thought that she had died in that laboratory already. In her thoughts, she was certain she would never return to that place again. About a month after arriving in Wonderland, perhaps because she had finally relaxed for a long time, White Rabbit felt very weak in the hospital, unable to recover, with aches all over her body and a slight fever, which made her wonder if it was because of the medicine. She thought, don't tell me the Duke put something in what he gave me to drink. The man next to her denied it. It is just a cold. It has been a month since the day you ran away, right? Well, that is it. You are just exhausted. He offered some medicine, saying, take this and get plenty of sleep. You will be fine. 1 tablet each time. And take it 30 minutes after a meal. Hearing that, she picked it up to examine it a little, then took it. Walking outside with exhaustion, she thought, she won't die from catching a cold. She just wants to sleep. Suddenly, her phone rang. Looking at it, she saw it was Mad Hatter with a message, 11 of the clock at 45 Caterpillar Road. That night, she went to the place that Mad Hatter had messaged. Looking at the outside of the building, it seemed normal, but upon entering, White Rabbit believed that there would be something interesting. Right in front of the door, she smelled a very strong smell of blood. Curious, she stepped inside and slowly opened the door. Inside, she was surprised by the corpses scattered on the floor. She wondered if he was in here and gradually stepped inside. Seeing a small ray of light from the door that was ajar, it seemed Mad Hatter was doing something on the other side. She walked past the human head displayed on the strange table. This made her feel like it was truly a bizarre hobby. You said, don't you know how to respect personal hobbies? Today you were wearing very different clothes than usual, looking at her saying, you are early, White Rabbit. She was still waiting to see what you would do. Had happily welcomed her and asked her to handle some things, then opened the cabinet. Your eyes immediately lit up like headlights. White Rabbit wondered what you needed her to do. Looking at the glass in your hand, you kept praising as expected, it was right to come to this mansion. She saw that you looked very pleased. Then you remembered and asked her to wrap this wing around the teacups and plates. While throwing her a roll of cloth, you instructed, don't break even one. Absolutely not, and she understood. She wrapped and wrapped, finally stacking them into cardboard boxes. White Rabbit said, I am done. Hearing that, had suggested, then you should carry them. You can put them in the back seat of the car. She continued to follow your instructions, putting them on the car. In the car you said, I have this. Perhaps you will be interested. Before her curiosity, you took out a magic pill. Then explained it to her. It allows the body to absorb magical power 20 minutes after consumption. Even people without innate magical abilities can use it. It is sold at the drugstore for 250,000 carats. But if you buy it from me, I will sell it for only 150,000. Had thought secretly that at least it would be very useful when using only this car or mobile phone because everything in this place runs on magic energy. He asked what she thought. She seemed interested, saying, sell me too. Then the White Rabbit calmly said, I did not know there was a famous perverted serial killer right next door. His attitude became unhappy. Pervert, I just like those teacups a bit too much. Seeing her sigh, he asked what is that reaction for, but she did not bother to answer. Arrived in Wonderland. The car gradually approached that large gate. Both stepped out when the car stopped. He told her to take both boxes out of the car but only take one first. You carry the bigger box, I will take care of the rest here and follow, and she understood. Then she gradually carried the box of cups in. Then there was an explosion behind her, but it was not much of a surprise. Had pointed to the empty space. Please put it here carefully, do not break the cups. She suddenly had a headache. Seeing that, he immediately asked if she was okay, but she said it was not serious. The White Rabbit suggested he pay up unless he planned to help her clean up. Then she left right then. Looking at her departing back, he smiled softly. The girl then walked down the street. Suddenly the guy from the pharmacy the day before called her. With a face as scary as possible, he asked, where is this lady coming from so late? Shouldn't a young lady like you be at home at this hour? You do not look too good and you are out here alone. He gradually moved towards her. It seems you need some medicine. Just as he raised his hands to grab her, she took out a knife and held it to his neck and glared, telling him to get lost. He was scared, his voice trembling, not daring to move. Okay, I will go right away. After she let him go, he ran away quickly. In her fatigue, she continued to walk home. After arriving home, she painfully collapsed on the bed. She told herself they said nothing was to worry about, she would be fine soon. Her face looked feverish. She picked up her phone and looked at it, and sat up with a sigh as if she wanted to go somewhere. Later she arrived at Hart's place covered in blood. She came to borrow the bathroom, seeing that he said, oh my, you are so clean today. In the bathroom she could not hold on and trembled. Seeing him enter, she turned around and asked what is going on. Hart replied, I brought you clothes to change into, but in your current state, this outfit would be more suitable. He held up a red outfit, then threw her a towel. She told him to get to the point. It turned out that Hart invited her to have a meal, and he heard that she helped Mad Hatter clean up the area outside yesterday. Then he asked, is the tracking spell taken care of? She replied, soon, asking him to get more towels. Hart helped wipe her head. She thought to herself she could do it herself instead of having to listen to him complain about it. It would really be easier to just do it myself. Suddenly he touched her forehead, saying, see, I told you, you are too hot. Take some medicine, but she remained silent. Seeing that, He grabbed her hand saying she was so troublesome, then threw her onto the chair. Being pinned down like that, she angrily said, "What do you think you are doing? Stay away from me. Let me go right now or else." He still did not stop and started to take off his shirt. Seeing that she helplessly told him to get her a towel, he replied contentedly, "I knew it. Wait for me a bit, okay?" After that she fell asleep. He was still sitting at the desk opposite her. Suddenly he heard a sob, "Hick, mom, mom." He went closer to check on her. It turned out she was calling for her mom in her sleep. "Where are you, mom? I am sick." He muttered, "This kid is so annoying." While pouring medicine into his hand, he thought that she was once a test subject, so a light dose of medicine probably would not work. Maybe I should give her about 5 pills. He lifted her chin and she was awakened. Although she resisted, "Let me go, I won't take medicine." But he forced all the medicine into her mouth. Seeing that she was still screaming and refusing to swallow, he held her mouth shut. He said, "Don't be stubborn, swallow." After finishing, she tremblingly sat up. She angrily yelled, "Heart." He calmly replied, "Calm down, you can't do anything if your health is not better, right? Whether it is the white rabbit position competition game or whatever, I am starting to like you quite a bit." She was so angry that she shed tears looking at him with disgust. He hoped she would get well soon to hold on to the white rabbit position. He continued to sigh, "When does the game begin?" Finally she is feeling better, so since she is awake she should eat something. The bodyguard brought the food in and said, "Mr. Hart, I brought your meal." The extremely delicious meal was placed on the table. She thought about how she had not eaten anything since yesterday afternoon. Seeing her pondering, he urged her to eat quickly. She began to taste the dishes with a happy expression. Hart contentedly thought she looked like she had a good appetite, then told her she was a good eater. Hearing that, she shyly replied, "This is the first delicious meal I have had in the last 9 years." At the lab they only ate frozen or pre-made food, which made him feel sympathetic. Then he asked, "Would you like coffee?" She agreed, "if you are offering." He immediately went to grind the coffee. He was doing it while singing, which made her think Hart seemed quite happy for some reason. Thinking back, the book Wonderland mentioned that Hart really liked coffee. But she only remembered the scenes of him drinking coffee with Alice. Making that drink was very complicated. Suddenly waking from her thoughts, Hart handed her the coffee and told her to drink it. She thanked him, then took the cup. Just as she drank it, he asked, "How is it?" She nodded, praising it was very delicious. The next day the White Rabbit continued to come to the house calling Mad Hatter, "Are you home?" Feeling that he is so slow today, "Is he sleeping?" Then he said from upstairs, "White Rabbit." She wondered if he was sleeping in his clothes. He said while yawning, "I thought you would not come today." "Let us get started," he suggested. "Tell me about that machine first." Outside, the sun's rays gradually entered the door slit, and on the table was Mad's device. She had fallen asleep without knowing. Looking at her, he said, "Silly. There is no special meaning hidden behind this." While pulling the blanket up for her, he said, "I'm just in a good mood because rarely does my headache stop, that is all." Suddenly she woke up vaguely. "Did I faint again?" Seeing the blanket on her body, she wondered if Mad Hatter put it on her. What a surprise. The White Rabbit's experiment with Mad Hatter had also ended. On the way she thought to herself she had nothing else to do today. She should probably go home and rest. Suddenly she encountered someone quite familiar. It turned out to be that kid from the other day. That boy suddenly took out a knife and held it to her neck, threatening, "Don't move. Hand over everything you have if you do not want to be stabbed." Seeing her not so scared face, the boy continued to yell, "Are you listening? I am not kidding, I will stab you." She grabbed his hand. "I will give you a piece of advice. Do not judge anyone just based on their appearance." Being pushed down by her, the boy seemed to be scared. She continued to say, "Haven't you heard the rumors about the White Rabbit? If you want to live long, then you should go listen carefully." Then she let him go and turned to leave. She remembered that boy's eyes. They look like Soha's. She also has the exact same brown eyes. These feelings are useless. She will forget all about them in a few days. The next day on the street there was a shout, "You are the pickpocket around here, or not you, brat? What are you doing here?" Thinking she would not see that kid again, she saw him being beaten and cursed at by people. "You wretched scum, how dare you crawl in here?" He tried to resist, get away, making those guys angry. He held a knife towards the kid, saying, "It is time to use traditional discipline. Your hands are useless for anything other than stealing. I will teach you a lesson you won't." Suddenly the knife in his hand was knocked far away. He was asking someone, then she raised her hand. "It is me, White Rabbit." Everyone around was surprised to hear her name. Could it be that the kid knew the White Rabbit? She said, "This is neutral territory. Don't get any blood on it." He stuttered, but that guy, she cut in saying, I think revenge is enough. He won't dare to think about stealing other people's things with that hand anymore. Unless he wants to die. Seeing the boy constantly trembling in fear, he said, if the white rabbit has spoken, kid, you are lucky this time. They left, leaving the boy still not calmed down. She approached, thinking to herself she was dragged into this mess just because of a bit of foolish compassion. There is no reason for me to help that kid anymore, that is enough. Suddenly he grabbed her shirt. Wait, you have to take responsibility for this. She wondered, what are you talking about? The kid blamed her for breaking his wrist. I can't work, can't steal, how am I going to live? She replied without sympathy, that is your problem. If you had not threatened me then. Before she could finish, he cut in saying he had a younger sister at home. The girl is sick and can't do anything without him. The kid cried, what do you want me to do? Changing scene to Hart's house. He heard an interesting rumor, saying that the white rabbit has a new younger brother. The kid is now just skin and bones and she will fatten him up to eat him. Then he asked what she thought of the cake. She picked up the sandwich. I like this one better, it is really good. But he did not understand why she brought those kids along. Aren't they very annoying? The white rabbit pondered for no reason at all. Remembering last night, the kid said he had a younger sister, similar to the image of her previous older brother. She just thought it would be good if someone would help. The kid introduced, this is my younger sister Dor. I do not know what is wrong with her, but she has always had to lie like that. He stroked her head. Sometimes she opens her eyes, but he can't know when. The kid said, that is why she can't live without me. This reminds the white rabbit of March and Dor, characters that appeared in the story of Wonderland. They were only mentioned briefly, but these were the first two people that Alice met in Wonderland. Thanks to Alice's ability, Dor was cured. But after that, March and Dor. While she was thinking, she was interrupted by a call. The younger sister woke up, calling brother. He happily said, you are awake. He stroked her head, blaming her for going to Dreamland alone, which was not fun at all. The girl innocently said, I am sorry. Then she turned and wondered, who is that? The boy froze. She said, hello. You can call me White Rabbit. Seeing that she looked very friendly, Dor happily replied, hello Rabbit, I am Dor. The boy was still surprised. This is that Rabbit. The girl excitedly said, Rabbit, I am very happy to meet you. She thought to herself, in the original story, Alice meets them in the slums, it would be easier to keep them here. But they are both too young. She called the two kids. Hey, you two do not want to waste your lives in a place like this forever, right? Then the White Rabbit suggested, come to the neutral zone and work under my command. Returning to the present, she told Hart that she has a lot of work to do, so it would probably be easier if someone else handled simple tasks like delivery. Hart thought, then said, I can't argue with that. Then asked if she had taken them to see a doctor. That was quite generous for laborers. He did not intend to interfere with such small matters, but the important thing was that the stage was set. Tomorrow night at 11 of the clock in the southeastern ruins. Hart said he would organize a croquet game. The White Rabbit wondered what croquet was, then thought to herself, this is not in the original story. The caucus race is too troublesome. He needs the consent of others too. That is why he decided to organize a croquet game with his own power. It is simple but a bit different from the caucus race. If the caucus race is a battle for survival, in croquet one person will be hunted and everyone else will aim at that person. Hit the ball before the other players and get through the circle to win. He approached, grabbing her neck, saying, this time you are the ball, try to survive to the end. If you can't, then your head will fly off. Let us look forward to what interesting things she will bring this time. He is really looking forward to our White Rabbit. She won't disappoint the person who turned her into the White Rabbit, right? It has been so long since the last croquet game. Everyone was talking. I am so nervous I can't sleep. I heard the prize is the position of White Rabbit. Is that why so many people are participating? Seeing the big guys coming out to participate, they asked each other, who are you betting on? Hart seemed to notice that girl, but certainly would not care much if she died. The man next to him said, there is no Buddha protecting her. Even if it is her, it won't be easy, huh? He said the opposite. He was really looking forward to her performance. In anticipation, Hart thought, what interesting things will she bring this time? Like the brown-haired man thought, there are not any real people here. Here she comes, it is the White Rabbit. The croquet game is about to begin. This is not even a game. Everyone around was eagerly betting 100,000 carols that the White Rabbit would lose her head in 5 minutes, 50,000 carols in 7 minutes, and 1.2 million carols in 3 minutes. The big man approached. Haha, it will all be over quickly. Looking at the crowd cheering and betting, Hart said, 10 million carats. The White Rabbit will chop off the heads of all the others. He said, because no one is betting on the White Rabbit, then at least I should cheer for her. Mad Hatter appeared. I will also participate in betting. 1 carol for the White Rabbit's victory. Hart turned back, replying only 1 carat. The Mad Hatter does not like to waste money unnecessarily. Hart angrily said, you mean the game that I organized is useless? The other guy replied with contempt, that is a bit hard to ignore. Then they looked at each other in silence. The clock struck. The two people stopped and Hart turned and said, enough, this is a special game. I won't ruin the atmosphere. He stepped onto the platform and said it was time. White Rabbit was ready and picked up the knife. The others were all thinking of vying for the White Rabbit's position. And the game began. She approached with the group. Throwing the knife, she slashed at each person. She continuously unleashed moves with devastating blows. Now more than half of the contestants are dead. The remaining people said, damn, is that even a person? Only one person was left on the other side. She remained calm. The survivors shouted, surround her, do not let her escape. Suddenly she took a stance, then jumped high, causing the spectators to scream. Do they really believe they can win after witnessing that? Mad Hatter admiringly said, I should have bet more. Hart was also surprised, unable to believe his eyes. Witnessing the brutality of the White Rabbit continuously slaughtering those around her. This time they were truly afraid and trembling. That guy desperately begged the monster to step aside. I give up, I give up. The audience was constantly angry, so much money wagered. Quickly kill her, kill her. In the end, that guy had his head chopped off by her. The gamblers all screamed, my money, you traitors, how could this happen? After the slaughter, she forcefully plunged the knife down in challenge. If you are not satisfied, come face me, I will chop you all down. The entire audience, despite losing their bets, remained silent because they knew they could not win against her. Witnessing everything from above, Hart clapped, a wonderful game. Then he said, now you have all witnessed it, this is White Rabbit. After that, he stepped forward and gently wiped the blood off her face. Hart asked if everything seemed to be finished, if she was going straight home, White. She froze at being called White, am I a dog? He laughed, you are my White. Hearing that, she scolded him, are you crazy? Hart had prepared food and would make her a delicious breakfast, then invited her to his house. She turned around and agreed to stay. From that day on, she officially operated under the name White Rabbit. In the evening, she reread the book Wonderland. And now, almost 4 years since stepping into Wonderland, White Rabbit was ready to play her supportive role well in the Wonderland story. The only thing left to do is, soon this waiting period will end. And the first page of Wonderland will begin. In one place, a girl named Alice appeared. Come in, White. Your hair is too long, Hart asked. How old are you now? She replied, 21. It has been that long. Time really flies. Feels like Hart and she only met yesterday. She said loudly, has it really gotten so old that I am starting to feel nostalgic? White Rabbit thought to herself, it has been a while since I set foot in Wonderland. Since I was officially recognized as White Rabbit. Challengers who came looking for me are no more. And I received more requests from people needing help. Perhaps I was very busy if I had not hired March as an assistant. Back to the present, Hart said, it is not like we are family who has been apart for years, it is quite recent. Have lunch before you go, I have had someone prepare it. Then he called the servants to bring 2 servings here. The servants brought the food. She asked Hart, you have been calling me a lot lately, have not you? Hearing that, he sat down and calmly replied, you said this place is where you get the best food, so it is true for you. A lavish meal was laid out. White Rabbit ate while thinking that it probably did not matter because it was all delicious food. These peaceful moments were rare for her. Enjoying the new dishes, she praised appreciatively, still as delicious as ever. He was happy that she said that, and he also made coffee. Suddenly a loud voice said, no, excuse me, this is important. Hart requested that no one hear. White Rabbit should also know about this. She turned around, it seemed like Mad Hatter had something to say. Hearing him shout outside the door, no, it can't be, Hart's expression gradually turned angry. In the end, he still burst into Hart's room. Entering naturally, he greeted, long time no see, White Rabbit. It has been a while, what wind brought you here? He continued to ask, did you come to eat? She confirmed, the food at Hart's place is very delicious. Mad Hatter felt surprised. Hart seemed unhappy. You did not come here to chat, did you? Why did you come here in person? Mad casually replied, I have something to show you. Then he took out a prototype, but Hart did not know what it was. Mad Hatter introduced it as an advanced version of the mobile phone we use. It has many functions such as calling, texting, games, notes, and even a schedule. It is lighter and thinner than current mobile phones, so it is very convenient to carry around. White Rabbit suggested, can I use it now? Of course, and she thought it was great to be able to use it. Hart crossed his arms, looking unhappy. I really wonder what is so important that you barged in here, just for a mobile phone. Mad glanced seriously. Are you implying that this groundbreaking item is just a mobile phone? Hearing that, Hart asked, how many people can use it? Giving something new to people who are already familiar with old devices will only make them feel confused. Don't worry, it is not necessary. Mad Hatter has used an intuitive design that even your stupid lackeys can use. While they were still arguing, White Rabbit was still calmly pondering. It is true that peace in Wonderland is impossible. After a while they still could not stop. Mad said, all right, I do not expect you to accept it right away. So he brought this for White Rabbit to use. She received it with curiosity. You are giving it to me, and yes, that is why I brought it. Receiving it, she seemed happy. Thank you, I will use it well. Hart was still unhappy witnessing this. Mad Hatter said to him again, this is the partner who came up with the idea. He sighed, admitting defeat, and asked Mad Hatter to make him a red one. Holding this device in her hand, she still could not believe that she was reminiscing about a smartphone. Walking down the street, thinking that it had been a while. That she always glued her face to the phone screen, keeping in touch with friends. Suddenly, a message came from a girl named Baby. Hey, come over to my place later, I have something to ask you and I also want to catch up on news about you. I will prepare some snacks. After that, she went to the house of the person who sent her the message. Sitting at the table, the girl kept laughing and talking. You are really fun, it is fun talking to you. White Rabbit got to the main point. So should we talk about your request now? Baby remembered, alright. Look at the time, I will stop chatting then. The girl seriously said that at 2 a.m. tonight, assassins will come to kill me. There are 6 people in total and the main attack will take place at 2 a.m. But one of them has already infiltrated at 8 p.m. He will kill the vegetable delivery man, replace him to hide, and when everyone is asleep, he will open the door and kill me in order to achieve their group's goals. I am really fed up with this. The girl sadly continued, why can't they leave a beautiful, weak girl like me alone? White Rabbit thought to herself, everyone underestimates Baby too much and often tries to attack her. But they are just digging their own graves. Baby, the holder of information both inside and outside Wonderland. She has a special physique that can change gender at any time and uses her appearance to create a network of lovers and form a powerful party. She has the ultimate information gathering ability and is more than capable of protecting herself. Snapping out of her thoughts, Baby said, so can you handle that? You are a savior, you know. Then she suggested not arresting anyone, just cleaning them up neatly. When it got dark, everyone was sound asleep and so was Baby. As expected, a man with a knife was sneaking around outside. A quick whisper said, hurry up, they are all asleep, finish it quickly. That guy's face gradually became scary. Good. Suddenly, someone appeared. It turned out to be White Rabbit, who then cleared out the gang. That guy cursed to himself, that damn Baby, she found out when. And even called White Rabbit. I thought just these guys would be enough. White Rabbit turned around and kicked the leader in the face, knocking him to the ground. She raised her knife, preparing to finish him off. That guy's mouth still tried to curse, White Rabbit, you bitch. Then she stabbed down, ending it. When it was over, she thought to herself, they are the stupid ones here, yet they blame me. She prepared to leave when she heard a voice. Would not it be better to clean up properly? Please think before you act. It turned out to be the girl's servant. He said that going to Baby and complaining, she is the one who makes the decisions here. How could I complain in front of our lovely Baby? White found his speech disgusting and said, enough, give me my fee. He suggested starting by cleaning up these corpses first, then he would pay. Bring the guy she just killed over here. She carried him over to him. Then stared at the neighborhood in front of her. He asked her, what is wrong, is there anything else? She replied, nothing. Scene changed to a beautiful morning. March was walking out the door, yawning sleepily because he was so sleepy. Then he suddenly encountered a strange girl. It seemed that she had been sleeping in front of his house since last night. A blonde girl who looked very pretty. Then he went to see White Rabbit and she made him some water. Drink this, he hesitated, thank you. She asked, what is wrong, you look listless. He rubbed his eyes, nothing. It is just that I did not sleep well. Hearing that, she felt sorry for him. And she stroked his head, making him blush shyly and flail around. Ah, damn it, what are you doing? I am grown up. White Rabbit continued to ask, why could not you sleep? He said because Door woke up. Door does not usually wake up. Child healed Door. He said that when he woke up this morning, he felt very well. March guessed that she really felt better. Hearing that, she was very surprised and asked again, healed Door. He honestly told White Rabbit that. I went out early this morning to run errands. Then I met a girl sitting curled up asleep in front of our house. And I was very surprised but also brought that girl into the house. However, when he returned after running errands, he called door I am home, and entered the house but did not see anyone. He wondered, did that girl wake up and leave? Seeing his sister's room door open, March was immediately surprised. Do not tell me. Then he rushed inside calling her name. The girl was doing something to door. A strange light emitted from her hand. Seeing that, he stopped her. What are you doing? Stay away from my sister. She smiled kindly, reassuring him, do not worry. I am not going to harm her. He yelled, like I believe you. Suddenly door moved again. The little girl slowly opened her eyes and called him. He was surprised and called door. She looked at him. He approached and asked, are you okay? Door replied, I'm fine. The blonde girl said that she has fully recovered. Then she introduced herself, I have a special ability that can heal sick people. He looked at the healthy child and still could not believe the truth. March continued to tell White Rabbit, she really looks healthier just like that girl said. Door usually lies down all day, she can even walk now. Hearing that miraculous story, she asked, what is that girl's name? The girl introduced herself to them. My name is Alice, then smiled brightly like a flower, looking very pretty. Alice Liddell. White Rabbit was surprised, it is her. The main character of this novel is Alice. Then White Rabbit said she would visit his house this afternoon and take Door and Alice to see the doctor. He agreed and asked where she was going. It turned out to be to Heart's place. March continued to ask, hey, are all the people there like that? Like what? She turned around and asked, what is wrong? Do you like that girl? He lost his composure and immediately denied it. Are you out of your mind? She teased, do not be embarrassed. He still said that it was not. Then White Rabbit said goodbye to him, see you later. Alone in the room, he was still silently pondering. It is not like that, although that girl always smiles very brightly. But that smile was not genuine at all. Scene changed to Mart's house, he just woke up. That is strange, she came so early again. White Rabbit said it is only 7 minutes to 10 of the clock. He blamed her for coming without contacting him first. There must be an emergency, right? Then she recounted that a girl came to the outer area the other day. Her name is Alice Liddell and it seems like she has healing abilities. She briefly healed Door, something that even the doctor could not do. White Rabbit thought we need to examine her. Heart asked what her connection to that girl was. Because she had never met her, but she smiled when she said her name. Hearing that, she immediately touched her face and asked, really? He suddenly raised her face and stared at her, telling her to contact that errand boy and tell him to bring that girl here immediately. I need to see her abilities. Receiving a message from White Rabbit, March looked at Alice and took the girl away immediately. At Heart's place, the bodyguard asked, are you Alice? The girl replied, yes, sir. They said Heart was waiting for her and invited her inside. Opening the door and stepping in slowly. Seeing the stranger in front of her, she was very confused. White Rabbit and Heart were still staring at Alice. Then she slowly walked in. He spoke, are you Alice? She replied shyly, yes, I am Alice. He suggested, come closer. Looking at Alice, White Rabbit thought to herself, so this kid's name is Alice. While passing her, Alice peeked at White Rabbit and smiled slightly. After that, he introduced himself, I am Heart. I heard that you can heal injured people, is that right? Alice hesitated, yes. He glanced at the person lying on the bed, all right then, help me with something. My man was seriously injured while assisting me. Seeing him in so much pain makes me very sad. Heart approached sweetly asking for help, I want you to help me. Can you do it? She agreed, yes. He reassured her, there is nothing to worry about. Just use your abilities. Then she began to cast her spell. A blue light gradually appeared from her hand. White Rabbit witnessed it and seemed surprised. Heart was still silently watching the girl perform. The man seemed to have felt it and groaned in pain. After healing, Alice asked, how do you feel? The man was surprised and asked, who are you? Then he sat up suddenly, saying, I am definitely better. Witnessing everything, Heart praised, wonderful. Then sitting at the guest table, Heart asked, how old are you? Alice replied, 18 years old. I heard that you have not been in Wonderland for long. Can you tell me what happened? Hearing this, she seemed hesitant and replied, my parents were suddenly killed. So I no longer have a home to return to. And because I did not know where else to go, I came here, she said, her face already full of pitiful tears. He comforted her. You have been through a difficult time. There is no need to worry about anything anymore while you are here. Then he asked, is there anything I can help you with? Alice pleaded, could you find out why my parents died, and if there is any possibility of them being revived? That would not be difficult for him, but Hart did not know if it would work. She unexpectedly replied, really, that is enough. The White Rabbit heard everything and thought to himself, meeting Mock safely in the slums at midnight. And getting help from Hart is too easy. Is this what was ordained by the power of the original work? As expected from the main character, after hearing Hart's agreement, Alice was very happy and thanked him. When Alice had left, Hart approached the White Rabbit, who was reading, and asked, what will you do next? He snatched the book from her hands. Don't just read books like that. Sitting next to the White Rabbit, he said, about the reason why Alice Liddell's parents died. She wondered, didn't you just say you would tell her later? He replied. I said exactly that finding out would not be difficult. Seeing her call him evil, he smirked. Thank you for the compliment. Don't play with an innocent child unreasonably. Make me promise. Hart said, I plan to give out a moderate amount of information. Anyway, it is lunchtime. I invite you to stay for a meal. Seeing his perverted expression, she angrily threw a pillow and shouted, put some clothes on. Scene changed to Alice's location. She happily walked around, enjoying herself. So, from now on, this is my home. Admiring the house, she praised, not bad. Then she muttered, I am glad I met Hart sooner. That guy's house was too terrible. They even fed me something like gruel. With a fearful face, she looked forward to, I wonder when I will meet all the other main characters. Then someone arrived and she opened the door, wondering, who is it? Oh. You are the person who was with Hart earlier. Outside, the White Rabbit greeted, then asked for permission, may I come in? Alice smiled, oh of course, please come in. The White Rabbit thought to herself, she is too careless. Even if she is the main character, she needs to be more careful. Alice said, I just arrived here not long ago, so I do not have anything valuable to give you. I'm really sorry. You came all the way here and there is nothing. The White Rabbit replied, it is my fault for coming without notice. She introduced herself, I am the White Rabbit. I came to greet you and deliver a message from Hart. Hearing this, the girl also held out her hand to greet. I am Alice Liddell. Nice to meet you, White Rabbit. The White Rabbit also reached out and shook her hand. She thought to herself, so warm. Then she remembered that Soha's hand was also once small and warm like this. Lost in thought, she was startled by Alice's voice, White Rabbit. Ah, could you let go of my hand? She said shyly. Sorry. Alice withdrew her hand and replied, it is okay. What is Hart's message? The White Rabbit thought, you would probably be shocked if I said everything. So I will try to use the gentlest words possible. Then she said, you remember what we discussed before, right? He will find out the reason why your parents were killed. But you need to follow our conditions. Alice seemed worried. She continued, Alice, you have an extremely precious ability. It does not require magic and is extremely effective. So it is best if you hide it. 'Cause it is like a double-edged sword. The White Rabbit asked, how many people know about your ability? Alice replied, Mock, Door, the doctor, Hart, the injured people, and... Okay, then from now on, do not let anyone else know about it. That is the first condition Hart gave. And the second is to survive in Wonderland. Because Wonderland is more dangerous than you think. You won't be able to survive if you do not try your best. Every 2 weeks, I will give you a detail about what you asked. So try to survive. But you do not have to struggle alone, she patted her head, comforting her. You can call me when the situation is really dangerous. Alice wondered, why are you so good to me? We just met. She thought to herself, because the novel will end sooner if you die. But the White Rabbit did not answer Alice, but just said, I am leaving. Remember to lock the door. Alice froze for a few seconds. It is surprising because the original White Rabbit was very mean. But she is quite gentle, is not she? She began to look forward to it more. Suddenly, somewhere, a strange man was holding a needle, plotting something. It turned out to be a dream for Mad Hatter. He woke up with a start. Sitting on the bed, he was extremely horrified by the dream just now. Downstairs, the White Rabbit was waiting for him. She rang the bell and he said, come in. They were talking about something worth about 600 carols. Mad Hatter said, you can always leave it where it is delivered. And you can also take some if you want. She unexpectedly said, really, then I will take some. He agreed and stood up. Suddenly he felt dizzy. The White Rabbit asked, what is wrong? Do you have a stomachache? He remained silent, thinking to himself, looks like I will have to visit the outside area soon. Suddenly, she came and patted his head. "We'll be okay," she said kindly, "everything will be all right. Rest well today." He was surprised and could not say a word. She said goodbye and left. After her back disappeared. Mad Hatter covered his face, embarrassed by what she had done earlier. On a beautiful morning, Alice was walking outside feeling happy. It is wise to go outside. It is nice to take a walk like this. Being inside all week is so boring. Suddenly a voice said, "Hello, it seems like this is the first time I have seen you here. What is your name?" She introduced herself, "I am Alice Lindell." The other person replied, "I am Duke." He asked, "How are you finding it here? I am a little worried because maybe you do not know about the dangerous areas." Alice replied, "Because I have been helped by many people. I'm still doing okay so far." "That is great." "Ah, right," Duke invited, "if you do not mind, would you like to come to my house for tea? I can tell you many things about Wonderland that you do not know yet." She thought to herself, "This is the first time I have met this person. I know it is very dangerous to follow." She forced a smile and hesitantly refused. "I am really sorry, I have some things to do today." He pretended to be regretful. "Well then, see you next time." Then he held out his hand. Seeing this, Alice thought, it probably won't hurt to shake hands. Then, just as she was about to take his hand, someone suddenly pulled her away. He was surprised, not understanding what was happening. He stammered, "Long time no see, White Rabbit. So you know Alice?" The White Rabbit turned back to ask Alice, "Are you hurt anywhere? Are you okay?" A little surprised, Alice replied, "Ah, yeah." Seeing this, Duke still said calmly, "That is a bit much. I did not do anything." "It is because you did not have time to do anything yet," she said. "Why do not you try opening your hand and let me see?" He denied it, saying, "I am innocent. Really, if you do not believe me, I can." Before he could finish speaking, the White Rabbit jumped in. "You wanted to drink tea laced with sleeping pills with Alice, or wanted to shake her hand with a poisonous needle hidden between your fingers. You thought I could not see through those tricks from before." She gradually lost her temper and drew a knife. Now he was scared and stepped back, begging, "White Rabbit, please." Then she asked, "Where are we right now? It is neutral territory." Then he frantically apologized. With the knife held to Duke's neck, the White Rabbit said she would let it go this time, but if he ever tried to mess with Alice again, she would make sure to pay him back in full. In fear, he replied in a trembling voice, "Understood." Duke was about to say something, but was suddenly stabbed by her with a knife. "This is a warning for you." And she threatened, "If you dare to do that again, your injury won't just stop at one leg. Alice is someone Hart has his eye on. So maybe next time the one who intervenes will be him, not the White Rabbit." Then she withdrew the knife, warning, "Be careful, you trash." Duke left with an injured leg. Alice worried, is he okay? But at least he won't die with just that kind of injury. Even though she said that, Alice was still worried. The White Rabbit recounted, "Duke likes pretty boys and girls. So every time he finds a boy or girl that he likes, he will use his knowledge of medicine and poison to kidnap and collect them. He is a dangerous person. Absolutely never go near him." If the White Rabbit had not arrived in time, Alice could have been kidnapped. The White Rabbit rebuked, "I told you to be careful, did not you remember?" Understanding, Alice felt frustrated. "Please be careful." Hearing this, the girl apologized in confusion. "And especially since Alice is very pretty, you need to pay even more attention." Hearing this, the girl blushed. Then said, "You are worried about me, are not you? Thank you." Alice felt very happy to have met the White Rabbit, who was truly a kind person. The White Rabbit looked thoughtful upon hearing those words. She looked at Alice without replying. Returning to Mad Hatter's house, he asked, "Do you like women?" The White Rabbit was startled, replying, "What? Why are you suddenly asking that?" It turned out he heard that you were interested in a girl. The White Rabbit guessed he was probably talking about Alice, and he guessed correctly that you were interested in her. "See, I thought you were just a little slow, but it turns out you like women because that girl made your heart flutter. Maybe it is better to." Mad Hatter was interrupted before he could finish speaking. "What the hell are you talking about?" Then he recounted that he heard about you threatening Duke, saying you would kill him if he dared to touch that girl again right in the middle of the road. Moreover, you were very sincere at that time. That is why Wonderland is now in chaos, because of that rumor. That the White Rabbit likes Hart's woman. In helplessness, she replied, "That is not true." Had asked back, "Isn't it?" She explained that she was only helping her because Hart and Mock were both interested in Alice. Hearing the White Rabbit's words, he still found it hard to believe, but then temporarily put aside this first matter. He continued, "Now let us move." Then he handed over something, saying, "This is your share for this month. Don't forget to pick it up on time." And instructed, "Bring me some food next time you visit." She wondered, "For you, but you can't cook." Knowing that, he just felt like it. Mater knocked her head, saying, "This is an order. Don't ask anything more, just do it." After that, she returned to Heart's house and he looked very angry, saying, "Hello, White Rabbit. I just heard some very interesting news." Looking at him like that, she thought to herself, "Is it him too? But why does he look like he is in a bad mood?" Heart said that she said that next time maybe I will make an appearance because I'm eyeing Alice. She admitted, "That is right." After pondering for a while, he asked again, "Do you really think so? But you do not need to answer that question." She thought to herself, "But it is not completely wrong anyway." Remembering Alice asking, "Was what you said earlier true?" about Heart, and the White Rabbit confirmed it is true. Because according to the original novel, he will like the lovely female lead. Alice's face became noticeably cheerful. 2 weeks had passed. The White Rabbit would give Alice a hint as promised. The first hint was Shelley Howard. Alice wondered again, who is she? Of course she did not know her. Shelley Howard is the first person Alice used her ability to heal. There was no particular reason. Alice just happened to see an injured girl on the street, that is all. And from that event, other people also started to know about Alice's ability. The White Rabbit thought to herself, there is still a lot of time. There is no need to help her right now. In the evening, at a dilapidated area, the White Rabbit called out to someone named Cheshire. She asked him, "What about this request?" The man on the right replied, "It is just a normal task. The request is for you to dispose of the bodies inside the warehouse. Work carefully and make sure they are buried in silence." He pointed to the truck on the other side and said, "You can use it to move them." The White Rabbit understood and started the mission. After that, he turned and said to the well-dressed man, "Have you heard, lately the White Rabbit has been going crazy over some girl?" The man glanced at him and asked, "Oh, is that so?" The other man said that the girl was very beautiful, and there are rumors that Hart has taken an interest in her. Cheshire smoked his cigar and said, "If Hart is really paying attention to the girl, then there must be something up. Tell that person to investigate." It was heavily raining, a blonde hurting on the ground. It hurt so damn much. He thought, "Am I going to die here? I can't move anymore." He sees a pair of legs walking towards him. He suddenly grabs on and pleads, "Heal me and protect me inside your home." He promised to pay him in full. In the past, 2 hands were reaching out. The voice echoes, "We are one. One is us." At the ruined room was 2 children. They said, "Even though we are like this, there was a point where we were separated from each other. I can't sleep when you say that." The boy with the hood asked, "Are you hungry? I have a plan. How about you eat me?" Under the hood was another boy, looking exactly the same as him. He said, "Eat me and keep living. That is the only way for us to survive." Then the woman with the red dress opened the door. "This smells terrible," she said. "Smells even worse. This is why she never wants to walk through here." Looking at the boy, she wonders, why are they like this? Did he die in the end? She opened the white scarf for a look. The sight of the big brother scared her. What the hell? Suddenly, a pair of hands reach around from behind. She hears the noises and looks back with fear. The boy strangles her. "Let me live. I am your mother." The boy sees the memories from before. He said, "Everything would be much easier if we were the same." The boy with a sinister laughs. He is right. I am so excited. That day they ran away from the crammed room and stepped out into the outside world. Ate anything they wanted. The annoying ones. The ones in their way. They ate them all. Until there were people chasing them from behind. A red hair was laughing evilly coming towards them. The blonde was stabbed and could not believe it. That person had been watching him for 2 years. He says, "Whatever the cost, you were always an obstacle, Dumb. You always ruin things." So he decided to kill him in the name of Dumb. "If I die, then Dumb will die." Back in reality, the blonde was lying on the bed. Feeling someone touching his forehead, he thought, "Who is it? I thought it was my enemy, so I have to eat them." Grabbing the White Rabbit's hand, he pulled her, intending to bite her, thinking, this way, no one will bother them anymore. But then he was thrown off the bed. Lying weakly on the floor, he cursed, "You damned white hair," and she replied, "Stop grumbling. I threw you with reason, so it definitely should not hurt that much." And she instructed, "Lie down and rest. Do not think about resisting me ever again." He cursed inwardly, "Damn it, how is she so strong?" The White Rabbit looked at the paper and threw it at him, saying, "Read it." He froze when he saw the number 700,000. She continued, "That is the price you need to pay for protection, treatment, accommodation and meals. This is what I should be paid. That is for one day. The blonde was still stunned by the price. He angrily crumpled the paper and threw it away. You think money is so easy to earn, you robber? They argued back and forth. If you can't pay, then get lost. He hid under the blanket and shouted, Get out of my sight immediately. The white rabbit brought food and said that when sick, one should eat something easy to digest. Hearing that, he was still angry and cursed. If it were you, would you feel better after eating that? I won't eat it. Seeing her ask, What about tomato soup? He immediately changed his tune and told her to bring it up. Then he slurped it all up in one go. Then he stuck out his tongue in disgust. It is awful, like sewage water. Did you make it? The white rabbit had bought it at the center, and that was all there was, so she told him to eat it. Seeing him acting so clueless, she felt like she was taking care of a 7-year-old. The blonde asked to give him paper and a pen, so she did and asked what he was planning to do. He drew and pointed, Look here. And here, these are some of the stores that these guys manage. I won't eat anything unless the food is bought there, and buy chocolate too. With his demands, the white rabbit found this place very expensive. He yelled, You will only pay a maximum of 70 carals. If I pay you back 700,000 carals, will there be enough people willing to go? If you understand, go quickly and buy everything. Looking at Dum Dee's message, if they can't find him, they will continue searching. The blonde dejectedly lay down. Now he felt so bored. This house was empty, with nothing fun to do. He thought to himself, How can that bastard live like this? White Rabbit, with a special role inherited from the title. The one who holds the name White Rabbit will live to serve requests from the citizens of Wonderland. Initially, this role was passed down from generation to generation. However, 4 years ago, the new title holder was born after killing the predecessor and taking his place. And the new title holder is her. As soon as she was mentioned, the white rabbit appeared and said, I bought what you requested, eat up. Thinking about it, Dum did not know much about this person because he usually covered his face. It was hard to tell if he was a boy or a girl. Suddenly he asked, Hey white hair, what is your gender? Then he moved his foot closer to her and said, Or why do not you close your eyes and let me check? Seeing that, she quickly dodged. Suddenly, the white rabbit received a message from Mad Hatter. He said, If you read this message, come immediately. Leaving Dum behind, she went out and told him not to mess around and just rest. He was bored and thought she was such a boring person. After that, she went to Had Matter's house. It seemed like Had Matter had just woken up. Seeing him rubbing his eyes and mumbling the name White Rabbit, she said, I came because I saw your message. And was startled when he pulled her closer. Hugging her, he said, I am so sleepy. So please wait a moment. Mad Hatter was making the white rabbit annoyed. But she could not resist, thinking, I can't win this time. Seeing his sleepy face, she wondered why he woke up when he was sleeping so well. But now she was here for some reason, and the white rabbit also felt a little unwilling to leave. So she closed her eyes and went to sleep with him. Had Matter and the white rabbit hugged each other for a long time. He gradually woke up, wondering, when did I fall asleep again? Where's White Rabbit? He was surprised because the white rabbit was lying next to him, replying, I slept very well. He immediately jumped up, not understanding what had happened. With a flushed face, he stuttered and yelled, What are you doing here? Aren't you looking back at your actions? How can you crawl into the bed of a single man like this? The white rabbit calmly replied, You hugged me and would not let go. He still could not keep his composure and said, Sorry about that, but it is okay, you did not do anything. It was because Heart sometimes hugged the white rabbit when he slept, so she was used to it, being treated like a body pillow. Hearing that was like a bolt from the blue, Had Matter froze. Cursing Heart inwardly, that heartless bastard. You also fall asleep like that every time he does that. She only replied, I feel sleepy. What an undignified woman, he angrily instructed. You are not allowed to do that. Ignoring that, she got to the main point, asking, Why did you call me here? He remembered it was because the rumors about you were rising again. She thought it was related to Alice again, but it was not. Hearing that, the rumor is that you let someone into your house, she worriedly asked. Where did you hear that rumor? Had Matter felt like she was reacting defensively, so that meant you were in trouble. She confirmed, That is right, but it was a request. Is that so, a request? The white rabbit did not expect the rumor to spread so far. If she told him, it probably would not matter. Then she said, It is just a request for treatment and protection, but it is a secret. The white rabbit was startled when she saw him staring at her intently. Then Had Matter smiled kindly at her. After that, she went to see Heart. The bodyguard said, He is still in the bedroom. She understood and went inside, calling, Heart, I am here. It seemed like he was still sleeping. So she planned to wait outside. Suddenly, she heard his call. But she replied, I will wait in another room, sleep a little longer. He disagreed and called her again with a face that was not fully awake. The white rabbit listened and stepped closer to Hart. Then he pulled her closer, asking why you have not been visiting often lately. She said, because you did not call me, and did not I just come 2 days ago? So you won't come if I do not call. You are so cruel, he blamed her. Then instructed her, wait here while I take a bath. Then we will have breakfast together. After showering, he prepared to eat. Seeing her eat so deliciously, it seemed like she really enjoyed the food. Hart had thought that she no longer liked the food he prepared, but that probably was not the case. Of course she denied it and asked, why did you think that? Because you have not been visiting these days. I thought you had started to like eating at restaurants or something. The white rabbit thought to herself. He has found out that I am staying with the twins, and asked, are you following me? Hart did not understand what she meant. I am just worried about you. It would be terrible if some bastard caught you, would not it? White hair. As expected, the white rabbit guessed he did not have any other actions. But if he knew, baby would also know. Hopefully that information would not spread around. Hart of course knew she would not try to do something similar again, but if she wanted to go out, think carefully. He brought out some kind of box. Then said, because I get very annoyed when I have to wait long. Seeing that it was chocolate bought from the twins' store, she was stunned. Arriving home, the twin called, hey, are you listening to me? Hey, white-haired girl. Calling for a long time without a response. He came closer and put his arm around her shoulder, saying, didn't you say we are the same age? But you are only this tall, how pathetic. He ruffled her head and laughed. You look like you still enjoy eating kids' food like sweet cereal. The white rabbit angrily pushed his hand away and said, I brought grilled meat, sit down and eat. Even though he did not like it, he obediently sat down. He looked at the plate of meat on the table and tasted it, thinking to himself that he wanted to eat something else, not this. Something softer and sweeter. As he spoke, he looked at her looking very thirsty. That night the twin was fast asleep. But he had that nightmare again. Opening his eyes, he saw himself as a child huddled up. Looking around, he did not know where he was. Suddenly the door opened, startling him. It was his evil mother coming towards him, threatening, you really think you can escape me? Do you realize how your actions make me look? Now you will have to stay here forever and starve to death. Even drinking water is too wasteful for someone like you. Startled awake from that nightmare, he gasped for breath, trembling. Another dream that made him extremely scared. This is why he does not like dark places. It makes him remember the past. Seeing the white rabbit sleeping soundly on the other side. In his head, a voice rang out. Looking at her makes you hungrier, does not it? He said, you are hungry, so eat. He said, it will probably be very delicious. Then he slowly approached the white rabbit, staring at the sleeping girl. He moved closer to eating her. Then he was choked by the white rabbit, who woke up. In his surprise, she stared back. Then angrily threw him to the ground with a thud. His plot failed again. Thinking to himself, how hard did she push me, it hurt so much. In his daze, he heard the white rabbit say that she could hear him drooling. Did he need a bib? The next morning he woke up startled. He was surprised to find himself wearing a bib. Looking at it, he froze, asking, what is this? Remembering that yesterday, the white rabbit scornfully asked him if he needed a bib, which made him very angry, scolding, what a white-haired bitch. Later, the white rabbit was at Hart's house. He asked, what is that on your forehead? There was a bruise on the white rabbit's forehead. Before she could explain, what is that? Then he continued, it seems like you are having trouble controlling the beast you are raising. She thought to herself, he figured it out quickly. Then she told him that she saw the twin up this morning at home. He seemed angry when he saw the white rabbit ask, how is your wound? Finally back, he asked, how dare you treat me like a baby yesterday? I will tear you into 100 pieces and chew each piece until you know your place. He raised his hand to do something. Seeing that he did not know his own strength, she did not hold back and kicked him. Being kicked so far away, he was in pain. Then she grabbed his shirt and dragged him while he was still screaming, you crazy woman, let me go. Dragging him into the room and throwing him on the bed. He seemed scared, not knowing what she was going to do next. Then she sat on top of him, staring, asking, what the hell are you doing, and told him to get off me now. The white rabbit threatened, keep still. Then grabbed his shirt and moved closer. Bonked her head on his hard and painfully, in pain. He said, are you crazy, why did you bump your head? She criticized that he was too weak, then saw that the wound was not opening up again and was recovering well. He was angry that she had to do that just to check the wound, but because he was the aggressor first. He yelled again, "Shut up, one day I will kill you," but she still calmly challenged, "Just try it." After telling Hart, she continued, "That was the fourth time something similar happened. I do not know when he will give up." Hart sighed and said, "Just kick him out already." At the White Rabbit's house, while the twin was there, someone came. The girl called my friend. Oh, it turned out to be Bobby coming to see the White Rabbit. The blonde was hiding in the room looking out, thinking, "What is this, another bitch?" He thought that he could take her down. She probably was not someone who could resist. He was strong enough to win. After thinking, he went out and said, "Hey, why are you here?" She turned around and saw it was one of the twins. Baby asked, "What are you doing in the White Rabbit's house?" He coldly replied, "None of your business." She did not think that he and the White Rabbit were close, but if he was allowed into her house. "Don't tell me you two are dating." Oh. Seeing Baby talking nonsense like that, he immediately denied it. "What the hell are you saying? Do you want to die?" Hearing her say those nauseating things is really annoying. She retorted, "This is a completely reasonable misunderstanding." Then where did the White Rabbit go? The twin also did not know. "Because I do not care where she goes. Why do not you know? Tell me." Seeing them arguing to the point of almost fighting, at that moment the White Rabbit came back and asked, "What are you doing?" Baby immediately turned around and cried, complaining, "Oh, my friend, he hit me." Behind him he said aggrievedly, "I have not even touched her." She came to hug the White Rabbit and told him that he hit me a lot. The White Rabbit knew what was happening, so she told her not to joke around too much. Then said, "Since you are already here, stay and eat, then go. Dinner is almost ready." Bobby happily agreed, "Yes, I am happy to." The twin refused, "I do not want to eat with that woman." Bobby also did not like this, but because of the White Rabbit, she held back. The rabbit helplessly said, "You two stop fighting and just eat." Seeing that there was little food on the White Rabbit's plate, he asked, "Is that all you are eating?" She said, "I am not very hungry." Bobby also asked worriedly, "What is wrong? Do not you want to eat?" The White Rabbit said that she already ate cake at Hart's place earlier. She accidentally ate a bit too much because they were too delicious, so she did not want to eat anything now. Bobby praised Hart's food is really delicious, but I am sure he puts more effort into it when making food for you. Seeing the two chatting like that, the twin interrupted, saying, "That is ridiculous. The dishes served at our place are much more delicious." Because Bobby has not eaten there before, how would she know? But he knew just by looking. Seeing that they could not stop, the White Rabbit thought to herself, if she told them that the most delicious dish she had ever tasted was from Hart's place, then they would probably continue arguing. After eating, she started washing the dishes. Looking at her doing the laundry, he thought, "The rabbit looks so weak on the outside, but she is much stronger than I am. I wonder when I will be able to defeat her." White Rabbit was still focused on washing, unaware that he was watching. He still had the thought, "What if I tried to get close to her now? I wonder if it would work." Suddenly she turned around and asked, "What do you think you are doing?" Seeing White Rabbit scolding him to get away with her sparkling eyes. "It is fairy dust," he thought. "It is like the dust in the fairy tales Dum used to read when we were little. The story says that fairies often appear before good children, wishing to give them a blessing. The dust that the fairies sprinkle around when blessing a child is believed to help them live in happiness. Because I never understood what the happiness mentioned in the book was. Even now I am not sure." Seeing him still standing there stiffly, White Rabbit threatened, "If you do not get out of the way, I will hit you again, you hear?" He still thought, if I had something like that, would I be happy? Then he got closer to White Rabbit, looking very perverted. She pushed him away. "You do not want me to hit you again, do you?" "Course I do not." And he turned his head to watch White Rabbit leave. In the days that followed, he cursed Bobby, "What the heck are you doing here?" She calmly advised him, "Don't get so angry. After all, it is not like I came here to see you, and this place is not your house either." He retorted, "But I am here now. Why do you keep coming to this place?" She calmly replied, "I can come any time I want. 'Cause after all, White Rabbit is my friend, unlike you." She looked at him and said, "Someone who will soon be kicked out onto the street." He was speechless and could not say anything more. While the two were still teasing each other, there was a knock on the door. "Excuse me, is White Rabbit here? I heard that White Rabbit lives here." Bobby pushed Dum aside and said, "Wait a moment." He still did not know what she was doing. "If someone finds out you are here, things will get worse." I am about to leave anyway." Then Baby opened the door. "Sorry to keep you waiting." "Oh, are not you Alice Liddell?" Alice said, "Yes, that is right." "Who are you?" She said that you can call her Baby. White Rabbit is not home right now. Do you want her to pass on a message for you? Hearing that, Alice smiled and said, "No need, I will come back another time." Baby said goodbye, "Take care," and Alice promised to see her again. She turned her head and left, and Alice thought to herself, that girl seems very cautious. What on earth is she doing at White Rabbit's house? Could it be that she is doing something strange? Just like she used to do with the doctor and Hart. And now with White Rabbit. Alice muttered, what a boring stalker. Watching Alice's back as she left, Baby smiled sinisterly. Then she said, trying too hard but it won't work. The twin peeked out and asked, can we come out now? Bobby entered the house, admiring, White Rabbit is really famous. Something interesting is about to happen. Dumb, not understanding, said, are you crazy? What are you laughing at? Baby calmly replied, do you think I'm crazy? You are no different from me. Don't complain about it anymore. Seems like a lot of people are keeping an eye on White Rabbit. Hearing that, he did not care who would want someone like White Rabbit. She told him that there are a lot of people. Mad Hatter or Hart all want her. Blonde Hair retorted, it is true that the rabbit is very strong, but who would want someone skinny and tiny like that? And he thought to himself, the kid has eyes that look like they are covered in fairy dust. But he still did not want to bother. You better not exaggerate. If that is really the case, I will gouge your eyes out. Baby said, if you do not want to believe me, that is your business. Seeing that, she thought to herself again, with how easily he gets agitated. He is not a big problem for me. I only came here to annoy him, but it turns out there is an opportunity. Outside, everyone looked at the beautiful girl and blushed with embarrassment. Alice thought to herself, it has been 3 weeks since I came to Wonderland, but there is still no progress. The meeting with Hart the other day only gave me a small clue. Because of it, I think something will happen if I meet White Rabbit. She still wondered, where is White Rabbit? Suddenly Alice smiled to herself, ah, found him. She ran over and called out to Hart, who was walking in the opposite direction. Hart turned his head after hearing the call. She deliberately fell into his arms, surprising him and not understanding what was happening. Seeing that it was Alice, he instructed, you need to be more careful, you almost got hurt. Alice quickly apologized, it is because I am so happy to see you again. Hart replied, it is okay, it has been a long time, Alice. Then asked her, is there a problem? She said that she only came here for lunch. I plan to find White Rabbit after I finish eating. And thought, now that I have found Hart, meeting White Rabbit is no longer important. Should I joke around a bit? Alice asked, haven't you seen White Rabbit lately? Hearing that, he wondered, why do you want to meet White Rabbit? Isn't it because of me? Hart said, today I am not meeting White Rabbit. If I do meet her, I will tell her that you are looking for her. And he let go of her, turned his back and left. Alice was still hesitating whether to invite him to lunch or make him jealous, but it seemed like she chose correctly. She smiled when she saw him like that, while Hart did not seem very happy. White Rabbit is now at home cooking. Suddenly someone called. It was location number 173, Caterpillar Road. After listening, she thought that he had been quite quiet lately. Could it be that he has found a new hobby? She told Blonde Hair that she was going out. He knew it was that jerk Hart again. Yes, White Rabbit instructed, if you feel hungry, there is beef jerky in the cupboard. Dumb was silent, and his expression gradually became unpleasant. At this time, a hand covered in blood was holding an axe. It was Hart in a dark room, covered in dirt, waiting for White Rabbit to arrive. Everywhere she went, she saw scenes of desolation and ruin, but White Rabbit still bravely stepped in. Seeing Hart kicking something. It was a human head, she greeted. Hart turned around, hello little white one, then called her over to him. Seeing the person who had been cruelly beheaded by him, she thought to herself, normally, no matter how angry he is, he would not do something like this. What happened? White Rabbit worriedly handed him a towel, telling him to wipe the blood off first. She asked, did something really bad happen? Hart did not answer, but said that, isn't it time for you to let the wild dog go? Wild dog, what wild dog? But she remembered the twin, White Rabbit promised to do so soon. He is a pretty difficult rebel. Seeing Hart not knowing what a rebel was, she recounted, whenever he has the chance, he will try to bite me, and he is very picky. He also complains and gets bored whenever he is sad. Hearing that, Hart said that, so there are a lot of unnecessary complexities, how troublesome. Arriving home, Blonde Hair shouted all over the place. Hey, why are you so late? I am hungry, did you go to the outside area? Yes, she handed him the food, telling him to eat it. He did not know what it was, so she said that it was that person's request. He thought to himself without saying anything, and just carrying out the request. The request is just an excuse, right? He said that when Hart called her, she immediately ran out like a puppy. Everyone says that is because Hart knew. Before he could finish, White Rabbit interrupted, calling Tweedledee, tomorrow will be a week. I suggest you call your subordinates or anyone else to take you home. He calmly opened the food and ate, not knowing why she was being so serious. While speaking, he suddenly choked because he did not chew carefully. White Rabbit diligently brought him water. Seeing her being so kind, he did not say a word, but was still uncomfortable until the end. The next day, Dumb's subordinate came. "Happy because you are still safe, sir." He coldly replied, "You want me to die? Hearing the way you talk, it makes your subordinate feel like you were worried for nothing." "Shut up," he pretended to ask. "Where's Dumb? The guy said that he went missing while looking for you, D." He put on his coat, thinking to himself, that jerk really knows how to make me worry for nothing. His subordinate handed White Rabbit an envelope. "This is the payment, guaranteed to be the correct amount." While counting them, she said that it seems to be correct. Then she did not say anything more and left immediately. He glanced at her and turned to his subordinate. Asked what happened to Luke. "That son of a bitch stabbed him," which startled the subordinate. He continued, "You did not tell that dog that I was looking for him, right?" The subordinate was flustered. "No, I did as you said and did not tell anyone when I came here." Dumb inside praised, "Very good. Now let us find him and chop him up carefully, if he knows the truth before he dies. Aren't you curious what his reaction will be when he realizes he almost killed his own master?" After speaking, he laughed maniacally. "It will be fun." After that, they went on the road. There was a camera examining the surroundings. The camera caught D with his subordinate below. Seeing his face clearly, Matter was very excited. "So that is him, one of the twins." Suddenly someone came to his house. It was White Rabbit. "You came just in time." As he said, they will conduct a routine inspection today. She wondered if this was really important. Of course it is. The mark on White Rabbit's neck was created during the golden age of ancient magic. It represents the enormous power hidden inside. Therefore, the drugs used to limit its effects must also be effective. Using those drugs will not be beneficial for you. He pointed to it. "That is why a yearly checkup is necessary. Since you do not have magic, I will transfer my magic into you to check." Matter held her head, telling her to look up and open her mouth a little. Looking at her, he examined her for a bit. Then he thought, "I was worried about her personality, not caring much about her. But fortunately, it seems like nothing serious has happened." He instructed that it would be a little itchy. Then he got closer and touched his lips to hers. White Rabbit still did not react and stared. He said that a little more and kissed her passionately. He thought to himself, "The time we kiss each year has increased." He was very relieved that there were no traces of other men on her. White Rabbit had no idea how happy Matter was. Scene change at Mr. Cheshire's building. His subordinate has investigated the woman you mentioned. There must be a reason why Heart and White Rabbit are circling around her. Hearing that, he satisfiedly praised, "Very good, you can leave now." Looking at the information, Alice Liddell, 18 years old, lost her parents some time ago and wandered into Wonderland. Then she met Heart, received help to adapt to Wonderland. It seems that they have frequent meetings. She possesses incredible healing abilities, able to heal someone on the verge of death in the blink of an eye. Pondering for a while after looking at Alice's photo, then thought to himself, "If that is the case, then she will be quite useful should I check her out." The next day, White Rabbit heard that there were rumors about him and me. "Are you talking about that strange rumor? That Heart and White Rabbit are having a forbidden love affair behind Alice's back? Does Wonderland lack entertainment or something?" But White Rabbit's intention was not about that. It was about him and her. Hearing her words, Heart froze. Then laughed gleefully. "Ah, well maybe, but where could that word have come from? Anyway, there is nothing worth calling a rumor." He calmly guessed that everyone was just talking lately. Heart asked who said that. It was the twins. So, it was the twins. Yes, that is why you suddenly care about the rumors around you. He did not understand. Usually you do not care about gossip. What is happening? Why suddenly like this? She thought to herself, Alice is currently here. She knew the possibility was quite low, but if Alice misunderstood, and if a situation arises that deviates the plot from the original, then I do not know what will happen. Returning to reality, she replied, "It is nothing." Heart came closer. "It seems like you are hiding a lot of secrets from me." He looked at White Rabbit with murderous eyes. Then she pushed him away, saying that, "There is nothing worth being considered a secret." White Rabbit had something to do, so she left first. He watched her leave, but in his heart was still dissatisfied, thinking that she was hiding something from him, which made him extremely angry. White Rabbit walked on the street, thinking, that makes me feel concerned for no reason. Heart suddenly looked like his mood became bad. Did he always hate the twins that much? Suddenly she met people who were smoking on the side of the road. It was Cheshire's people. She glanced over, wondering why are Cheshire's people in the neutral zone. There is no reason why a big shot like Cheshire would come to the neutral zone. She began to imagine that, in the original story, when Alice became more adapted to Wonderland, a character began to take major action. The talented lawyer Aubrek Grimalkin, also known as the murderer Hydro, who never leaves evidence at the scene. Cheshire of Wonderland, he collects information inside and outside Wonderland. In order to find out that Alice has healing abilities, then he kidnaps Alice and uses her for personal ambition. Could it be that he is starting the plan already? She thought there was still time, but there was already an inconsistency. If it is Cheshire, he will order a kidnapping and after a few days of observing Alice. However, White Rabbit could not calculate how many days he had investigated Alice. She needs to keep watch near Alice's house starting from today. Suddenly someone called the Undertaker, right? The blonde guy said that maybe she was confusing him with Dee. I've wanted to send you my thanks for a long time. Thank you for saving Dee. Dee is safe thanks to you. White Rabbit said that she only did what he requested. He continuously thanked her very much and will never forget this kindness. She thought to herself, looking this close, Dumb really seems like a completely different person. When he is Dee, he is always frowning and annoyed. If I had not read the original story, I would not have recognized him. Ignoring that, she said that thank you is enough. If there is nothing else to say, then I will take my leave. Wait, he grabbed the White Rabbit's hand and pulled her back. He suggested, could she have dinner with me? In his pleading expression, he wanted to hear how Dee had lived, and wanted to repay her kindness. But the White Rabbit had already received the payment. This is just him wanting to express his gratitude. But are you busy now? She pretended to answer yes. Okay, then see you later. Goodbye. And she immediately shook off his hand. Glancing at him, she just did not understand. The request is over. What is he planning to do? She did not think he was a threat, but let us wait and see. That night at Alice's house, she could not sleep and lay trembling in bed. There seemed to be some sound that made her uncomfortable, so she covered her ears. Seriously, it is too noisy, she shouted loudly. How many days have you been crying? Alice could not stand it anymore. Tomorrow she had to go over and talk to the neighbors. Looking out the door of the room in anger, suddenly there was someone's voice outside. Looking at the clock, wondering who would come here at this hour, how annoying. In her weariness she still called out, I am coming, who is it? It turned out to be the White Rabbit, saying, can we talk for a bit? Alice was confused. It is the White Rabbit, wait for me a moment, okay? Then she happily combed her hair carefully. Looking at herself in the mirror, perfect. This is good, right? After finishing, she came out and apologized for making the White Rabbit wait. Alice said happily, please come in. The White Rabbit then greeted her and asked, how have you been lately, Alice? She replied, very well thanks to you. White Rabbit, it has been a long time since I have seen you, please visit me often. The rabbit agreed and promised to do so. Let us have a meal together next time. Hearing that, Alice happily accepted and then asked, but what brings you here today? It turned out that today, the White Rabbit came to give her the second clue, which Alice heard with surprise. The second clue is about someone Alice knows very well. She wondered, someone I know. Hearing the name Henry Liddell is the second clue. She immediately burst into tears, sobbing. Remembering her deceased father, I do not know how I should feel. The White Rabbit said sadly, don't rub your eyes like that, it will hurt. Alice then said, could it be that White Rabbit, you know my father? Why is he the second clue? Although the White Rabbit did not want to tell her about it. But she kept pleading, please, because I do not know much about it. Because it is related to her deceased father, so she really wanted to know. Alice pleaded, please tell me a little more, please. Hearing those pleading words, the White Rabbit was extremely confused. But she really did not want to tell him about this clue. Then she also said that it was related to your father's work. Alice Liddell's father is Henry Liddell. He was a researcher at the laboratory and imprisoned many people inside. Although he ruthlessly used other people as test subjects. But he feared that people would know about his daughter's abilities. Fearing that she would be captured and used as a test subject, he desperately wanted to protect his daughter. However, he used other people as test subjects in a bit of concern, even though he did not want to sacrifice his daughter. The White Rabbit has told you about the clue, so now I will go. Alice pulled him back, saying, can you stay a little longer? But she had some things to do. Then they said goodbye. Then Alice closed the door and sighed. She forgot that she would receive a clue today because of that crying sound. But luckily, it is not heard anymore. As soon as she said that, it appeared again. Alice thought uncomfortably, it is starting again. She decided to confront it and kicked into that room. She called out loudly, "Is anyone there?" Alice was startled to see a girl crying. But more importantly, she looked exactly like Alice, calling "Father, Mother." Alice could not believe it and asked, "Who are you? Why do you look like my house?" She wiped away her tears and asked, "Who are you? Why are you using my body?" Alice fearfully clenched her hands, thinking, could she be the real Alice Liddell? The person inside the mirror kept asking, "Please return my body to me." While the fake Alice stammered, "Why is this your body? Now it is my body, I am the main character in this place." She continued to shout, "This is my world, I won't return it." Then she grabbed the chair next to her and smashed it hard into the mirror with the girl. Then the mirror shattered into pieces. The pieces of mirror fell all over the floor. "Alice will not return it to someone like you. She definitely won't return it, never." Suddenly she felt dizzy and fainted. Outside, it seemed that someone had broken in. Some man came to Alice and saw her unconscious on the floor. They said, "That is good." It seemed they had some plot, so they put her in the car. In a strange place, Alice was still lying unconscious. Then she woke up in a daze and saw an unusual scene, so she wondered, "Where is this?" The man with glasses stared intently, then said, "You have woken up," making Alice startled. She was scared and did not know who that person was. He began to smile and asked, "You are Miss Alice Liddell, right?" At that time she realized it was Cheshire, and if it was true to the original, this was when he planned to kidnap her. Alice thought to herself, but why at the moment when she was distracted by the real Alice? Cheshire came closer and said, "Oh my, no need to be so vigilant, I want to bring you here hoping for cooperation. Can you help me?" His face gradually became scary, making her scared and backing away. Someone's blood splattered everywhere, making her tremble. "Please stop, it seems you have misunderstood, I really do not have that ability." He said, "It seems that you are the one who misunderstands here. Do you think you can escape if you continue to be stubborn like that?" Then Cheshire threatened, "There is no reason to keep your life if you do not have the ability to heal. If you do not want to die, then obediently listen to me." He pointed to the guy he had just scratched and said, "Now do it." Alice could not resist and went to the guy. She began to use her power to gradually heal the wound on the guy's body. Under Cheshire's attentive eyes, the wound healed immediately. At first he was not so sure, but this ability is really amazing. Then he kicked the guy again mercilessly, making him beg, "Please have mercy on me." But Cheshire did not care and turned to tell Alice to heal him. She still had to listen to him and continue to heal. The wound on the person's leg also healed, and just like that, he made her heal him again and again. That poor man was constantly trampled on by Cheshire and even had his body chopped up. He was in extreme pain but could not resist because he was too weak. Cheshire saw that Alice could not heal it and said, "So it does not have a perfect effect on the severed body. Anyway, it is quite impressive that you can save him from the gates of death." Then he called his subordinates to clean him up and bring in the second one. The next person started to come in. In Alice's fearful eyes he said, "Now you know what you should do before being told, right?" A moment later, after being satisfied, Cheshire praised, "Truly spectacular. Unbelievable that you are still completely healthy after treating more than 10 people. It is truly a miracle. Now this is the last one." He approached her and pulled out a knife from his body. "It is not too difficult. I just need to know if your ability has an effect on the owner himself." Seeing that, she pleaded, "Please do not let me go, spare me." It seemed that Alice's words could not stop him. "Don't you understand what I am saying?" He grabbed her hand and prepared to act. "I told you to obediently listen to me. Why are you so annoying?" She cried, not wanting to do it. "I am so scared, someone please save me." Under the knife pointing at her, Alice just hoped someone would come to save her, her parents, Hart, and the white rabbit. Suddenly there was the sound of glass breaking. She raised her head to find a last ray of hope. It was the white rabbit who had broken in. Witnessing that made her extremely happy. Before that, the rabbit heard Cheshire's subordinates talking and asking to bring this girl into the house. She thought to herself, now when Alice runs out. The white rabbit gradually stopped when she heard the subordinates say. She did not even get up when we appeared in front of her. Feeling strange because the white rabbit thought that according to the original, the twins would save Alice when she ran away. But she did not see the twins anywhere, and she did not know exactly what happened. Seeing that Alice had been put in the car, she was surprised but could not catch up to save Alice. In her mind she felt that something was wrong. Immediately called Baby, "Sorry for calling you so late, but Alice has been kidnapped." The white rabbit said, "Tell me about Cheshire's hideout." Returning to reality, she came to his place to rescue Alice. He was extremely surprised and asked, "White Rabbit, what are you doing here?" She flew over and kicked him. Being kicked like that, he fell into the wall in pain. Seeing that the White Rabbit had arrived made Alice tearful. Then she told Alice, "Stand behind me, Alice, I will protect you." After that, the White Rabbit stepped forward and stood in front of Cheshire with a cool face. He angrily thought, did Heart send her here with the desire not to lose Alice and her abilities? He called all his subordinates. "There is an intruder." Those guys with weapons started to rush in. The White Rabbit still calmly instructed Alice, "Hide under that table over there and cover your ears. Wait for me a bit, okay?" Although a little worried, Alice also listened and did as she was told. The White Rabbit pulled out her knife and was ready to fight. Cheshire ordered his subordinates to kill the White Rabbit and capture that girl. They gradually approached her. They despised, no matter how strong the White Rabbit was, she was only one person. Perhaps they did not know how strong she was, truly not knowing their own strength. The White Rabbit easily dealt with each person one by one. The subordinate's head was chopped off by her immediately. Cheshire witnessed, although he did not want to admit it, but he was at a disadvantage in this situation. The White Rabbit is one of the leaders in Wonderland. Even if he prolongs the battle, it will only waste manpower. At this rate, his life will also be in danger. It is a pity, however. He had to say, "Stop." When they heard his words to stop, they did not fight anymore. Cheshire told everyone to step back. "Today I will let you go, but next time." While speaking, the White Rabbit interrupted, "That way of speaking is too old-fashioned, you know. Just admit that you have lost, do not try to be arrogant anymore." He gritted his teeth angrily but did not dare to talk back because the White Rabbit's words were very true. After that, he and his subordinates left in humiliation. The White Rabbit looked over to where Alice was hiding. Seeing the girl with tears in her eyes trembling made the White Rabbit extremely sad. She sat down and comforted, "Everything is all right now." Alice sobbed and said, "White Rabbit, I am so scared." Then she hugged the White Rabbit. "It is all right now, they are all gone." The White Rabbit comforted, "It is all right, it is okay." After that, at Heart's mansion, he just came in and said, "I have heard the situation, you both did well." Alice sadly jumped into Heart's arms and said, "I was so scared." He comforted, "Don't worry, I am here." She could not hold back and continued to cry. Seeing that, he asked, "You must be tired. Go inside and rest, and from now on just stay here." She was surprised and asked again, "Really, won't it cause any trouble?" Heart sweetly replied, saying, "That hurts me, how could you think of me like that? If so, then Alice will listen," and she thanked him. Heart pointed upstairs and said, "Okay, your room has been prepared and is deep inside the 3rd floor." Hearing that, Alice went up to rest. Heart then went to the White Rabbit. Seeing that she was injured, he asked. But she said, "It is just a scratch." He was angry that she did not care about herself. Then asked, "What about the shoulder?" But for her it was just a scratch. He was not happy and told her to follow him. In the room, Heart said that he was very surprised to receive a call from Baby at midnight. She had rushed in alone to save Alice. Because in an emergency situation, if the White Rabbit had arrived late, he did not know what would have happened. Touching the wound on her shoulder, Heart was again angry and said, "But you even dared to ask me to let her stay here. You always do what you want without thinking about my feelings." The White Rabbit certainly does not know why Heart is doing this. She replied, "No, you do not even care, right?" Then let him lean on her chest. Right now in Alice's room, she cursed Alice Liddell to herself, "Damn it. No matter what you do, I won't return it. Because this body is mine now." In a smelly place covered with dirt and chemicals, there are no windows, only a small light bulb. Yet some boy is more familiar with this place than his own room. It is the father's laboratory, the small cage that has imprisoned me. The father suddenly brought in food and asked, "Are you awake?" He smiled kindly and said, "Are you hungry? Dad has prepared food for you, come on and eat." Looking at the things in front of him did not make him happy, but instead looked very scared. He kept urging, "Come on, eat, are not you hungry?" But the food on the table smelled terrible. You could tell just by looking at it that it was inedible. He mustered all his courage to ask, "Father, can I skip today's meal?" Yochanan Chapelier, his face displeased, told him to eat it all. Even though he did not want to, he could not disobey his father. The boy thought to himself that he could not always go against his father's word. Unable to do anything, he just ate all kinds of suspicious, possibly poisonous food. After eating that, his head felt like it was about to explode. The food's effect made him scream in pain. My head hurts so much, father. He calmly said, indeed, the amount of magic in your body is very high, so there was an immediate reaction. This time the symptoms are quite clear. Ignoring his son's pain, the father continued, next time, let us try a different drug. Unable to endure it any longer. His hand trembled as he reached out to touch him. Please, father, kill me, father, he begged. He woke up from the nightmare when someone called his name. Had matter, are you awake, are you okay? It was White Rabbit. You asked me to buy medicine, so I bought it. But you were struggling so much I had to wake you up, she said. Seems like you had a bad dream. He felt wronged and hugged her. She was very surprised to be pulled in like that. White Rabbit asked, was it really that painful? He sobbed in her arms and said, it really was. It hurt so much. Hearing that, she stroked him comfortingly. It is okay, everything's all right now. I am here with you. He still could not stop crying. Then the two of them hugged each other so tightly that they fell asleep without realizing it. Later, had Matter startled awake. He found himself sleeping in White Rabbit's arms. He wondered, am I dreaming? Seeing her wake up, he pretended to close his eyes again. White Rabbit thought to herself, he really must be in a lot of pain. Sometimes he does things that are very unusual. She touched his forehead and said, I am so glad I bought the medicine. It seems like the fever has gone down. Thinking he was probably better, she was about to leave. Seeing that, Matter said, wait, I want to repay you. Then she sat at the table and smelled a sweet fragrance. He brought out the food and apologized for making her wait. Looking at the things on the table, she was surprised to see scones and tea. She thought he hated these kinds of foods, but he replied that it was because she liked them. Had Matter saw that she ate a lot of these things at Heart's mansion. He said, you do not want to eat because I am new here. That is not it at all. Enjoy your meal, she said. She drank the tea and found it very delicious. He was glad she liked it, then brought out a strange bottle of water, which made her wonder what it was. He explained, these are concentrated nutritional drinks. 4 pills are enough to replace a main meal. Would you like to try one? When she said no, he understood. Then White Rabbit asked about Alice. He thought she was Heart's lover. But no, you misunderstood. She possesses a special ability. He thought to himself, isn't she the one who healed me before? He understood and said, then I send my congratulations that Heart has a girlfriend. Hearing that, she explained, I told you it is just a misunderstanding. Seeing crumbs on White Rabbit's mouth, he immediately reached out to brush them off, making her wonder what Had Matter was doing. Then he ate the crumbs, making her blush with embarrassment. Matter thought, how impudent, daring to push a mysterious woman towards me. And he praised, the scones are very delicious. At the twins' house they were eating lunch. It was delicious, top-quality beefsteak. But when he put it in his mouth to eat, he did not find it delicious. Seeing his brother slam the table and refuse to eat, the other brother inside his body asked, what is wrong, why are you refusing the steak? Should I ask for a different menu, he said, I do not find it appetizing. Bring something else, something special. He jumped up and said, let us go eat something else. Outside, the sky was clear and fresh. At a house, someone was groaning in pain. A woman was being eaten by Dumb. But strangely, he should have felt better, but it felt like something was missing. Then Dumb asked, what do you think, Dee, should we find another one? Calling out but not getting an answer made him feel strange. Dee would never be so silent during a meal. So he felt disinterested and decided to return. He would call Dee again later. Suddenly, he saw White Rabbit standing outside the door. He wondered, White Rabbit, why are you here? It turned out she was passing by and smelled blood. Not knowing if something had happened, she came to check. He stammered, oh, is that so? It is nothing special, just. Suddenly, Dee spoke up, found it, it is her. White Rabbit, she is the one I want to eat. Let us eat. He approached White Rabbit, making her confused. She asked, Dumb, what is wrong? But Dee continued to manipulate him. Bite this rabbit once and be mesmerized by it. Perhaps this craving will disappear. White Rabbit angrily hit Dumb on the head, making him wince in pain, saying not again. A big bump swelled on his head. She muttered, at this rate, he probably won't need a bib anymore. He is drooling everywhere. Just then, someone called her. Scene changed to Alice's residence. She was pensively looking at the scenery around her when someone called. Alice turned her head and saw Peter, her bodyguard. He asked, what is wrong, you look sad. She sulked and replied, because I am locked up in here all the time. Peter suggested, if that is the case, Then relax a little. Alice thought to herself, actually, it is not so bad here. It is even good sometimes. The closet is full of beautiful clothes, making me think about what to wear. The materials are clean and convenient. The food is luxurious. However, Hart rarely comes to see me. He always says, "Sorry, I have a lot of work today. See you later." He does not even let me step out of the mansion. Peter cheerfully asked, feeling stifled. "I understand, but it is also for your own good, so I hope you can endure it a little longer." She sadly said, "Can't I go outside for even a little bit? But it is quite dangerous outside right now." Hearing that, Alice made a pitiful face. "Do you want me to wither away? I really feel very stifled. Can't you let me out for a few minutes, please?" Even though she wanted that, he still could not allow it. She begged again, "If you are worried, you can come with me." Seeing her cute appearance, he reluctantly agreed. "Just for a little bit, okay?" And he instructed, "Absolutely do not leave my side." She happily praised, "You are the best, please remember that." But what goes around comes around. Alice was kidnapped by bad guys, and Peter could do nothing. He was also punched a lot without mercy. The red-haired guy told him, "Tell Bon that Jack has kidnapped his pretty girlfriend. If you want to redeem her, tell him to kneel in the square and shout, 'I will return Hart's position to Jack,' understand?" Then he laughed loudly with satisfaction, while Alice was still confused, not knowing who this guy was and who Bon was. Because this was not in the original story, and she did not know this would happen. She just wanted to go outside and relax. The story wrote that during that process, Alice was also kidnapped by Hart's brother, Jack, but thanks to Hart, who stormed into the hideout alone to rescue her, she safely escaped. She remembered that that had happened. He stepped forward and stared at Alice, and grabbed her hair, asking, "How old are you?" In that painful feeling, she cried and answered him, 18. Such a beautiful age. He raised Alice's chin and said, "Your body seems very suitable for playing around with." She thought, "Am I going to die?" The Cheshire incident should not have happened. I was lucky that White Rabbit appeared that time. But if everything this time does not go according to the original story, Alice was so scared that she fainted. He lost interest and asked, "Fainted already? Just a few rounds and everything will be over." Then he told his subordinates to tie her up tightly so she could not escape. She does not look brave enough to do that, but just in case, stuff a cloth in her mouth so she does not bite her tongue. On the other side, Peter was still worriedly calling Alice's name. Jack glanced at Peter and said, "Tell Bon everything I instructed you to say, understand?" Then they got in the car and left. Peter struggled to reach the phone on the floor and called Hart. He weakly said that Alice had been kidnapped again. "Even though I tried to stop them, I was too weak, and he told me to relay the message. Jack has kidnapped your girlfriend, and if you want to redeem her, then follow the conditions." Hart asked what conditions. "He wants you to give him Hart's position." He understood but said, "First come back and get treated, then we will talk more." Hearing that, Peter was startled. "What? But Alice is currently in danger. We need to send people." Hart interrupted, "It is okay. She is a valuable hostage. They won't treat her carelessly. However, we can't just fulfill his conditions, right? First we need a plan." Peter did not expect that he would not care about Alice's safety. Remembering Alice's frightened face made him feel extremely guilty. "All right, I remember. If I tell that person, it might work." He called and pleaded, "Please help me. Alice has been kidnapped." On the other end of the line, White Rabbit promised to be there right away. She asked, "Did you see the suspect?" "It is Jack. He is the one who kidnapped Alice. The conditions that Jack gave are very unreasonable." She wondered, what are the conditions? Jack requested that Hart hand over his position to him. She understood and hung up. In Wonderland, there is a famous story about a child born to a prostitute in the slums. He killed the father who took him out of the slums, and seized the position of Hart. This is the story of the riot. The boy Pon, who once had nothing in his hands, rose to the highest position of power by that method. And Jack, his half-brother, who was supposed to inherit the Hart's position, was exiled after his life was spared. Naturally, Jack wants revenge. He must feel that everything that rightfully belonged to him was taken away. Perhaps that is why he kidnapped Alice. White Rabbit thinks the conditions that Jack gave were too unreasonable, so there must be other real conditions. Or the worst-case scenario. She remembered the twins lying unconscious. If they left him here, his men would come and take him away. Then she called Baby and requested, "Tell me the location of Jack's base." Inside the base, there are subordinates discussing, "Did you happen to see a blonde girl? I heard she is Jack's woman." Have you seen her yet? Can we trust that rumor? They continued. Matthew's eyes lit up when he saw that girl. I heard he is craving her. Really, I want to see her too. Hopefully she is still alive. Outside the door, White Rabbit had heard the entire story. It seemed Alice was still safe. Looking at the people inside, there were probably 2 or 3 people. She felt it was less than she expected, so she felt strange. Because the first time White Rabbit met Jack was about a year after the day she came to Wonderland. That was the day he rebelled against Heart. At that time, he mobilized about 40 subordinates to attack Heart, fiercely fighting against him. However, he was defeated miserably. Jack returned after losing all his subordinates, only barely managing to keep his own life. But challenging someone who had defeated him before with fewer forces meant that his subordinates this time were much stronger, or he had confidence in it. Could also be a trap. Maybe he is hiding a final resort, but she thinks she still has to rescue Alice. At least, she needs to ensure Alice survives until Heart arrives. Suddenly, the phone vibrated because there was a new message. Heart said, I will be there soon. Don't rush in alone. Wait. White Rabbit read the message, remained silent, and obediently waited. After a while, she saw Heart get out of the car. He and his subordinates proudly walked in. His face looked very angry. She stepped forward and said, You arrived sooner than I thought. Hearing that, he gritted his teeth in displeasure. Then he said, You follow me for a moment. Arriving at a secluded place, White Rabbit asked, What is wrong? No matter what there is to say, then. Before she could finish speaking, she was cut off by him. Heart shouted, Why are you here? Don't you know why I am angry? But she said, Calm down. Herd Baby said, Does she know how Heart felt when he found out that she had inquired about this place? Just thinking about her recklessly rushing in without thinking made him feel. She interrupted and asked, Are you worried about me? Hearing that, he became even more angry. Is that the only thing you can say? Damn it. White Rabbit was helpless. She had never seen Heart this angry. Then he told her she was a terrible woman. Did she know that? She hesitated and said thank you, but he did not want her to choose to say something else. If she says sorry, it does not matter what the words mean, I will. He stopped speaking but ignored her like nothing happened. His eyes carried a sad expression. After that she asked, Heart, do you have a plan? I will go in from the front because my appearance has already been revealed. Trying to do something will only make us look pathetic. Then he reminded, Be careful, White. If she does not want him to worry about her. His subordinates began to open the door. Jack inside was already waiting. He smiled evilly and greeted, Long time no see, Pawn.